It's Speed's biggest night ever.
$1 million, baby.
Rewind over in turn two. Earnhardt goes on the grass incredible. As you can see, the tempers are hot.
Plenty of star power. The best and the brave are here. From NASCAR's newest villain, Kyle Busch, to the driver who is money at this track, Jimmy Johnson. And speaking of money, the guy who took home the $1 million last year, Kevin Harvick. Plus a very special night, the final ride of Dale Jarrett's amazing career. You've heard it compared to the Home Run Derby or the Slam Dunk Contest, but it's NASCAR's version of punt, pass, and kick. It's the All-Star Race. It's on Speed.
Ladies and gentlemen, in just a week from tomorrow, the largest Memorial Day celebration in the world will be here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. In anticipation of that, I'd like to ask you if you would bow your heads and pray with me and ask God's blessing and provision for our military men and women around this world who fight every day to protect the freedom that we enjoy as Americans in this country, and to ask God's blessing on the great competition here tonight. Will you join me as we pray? Heavenly Father, we thank you for the beauty of this day and the beauty that is all around us. We have prepared, we've gotten ready, we're excited, we're looking forward to this all-star race. We pray that you would bless each of our drivers, that you'd keep them safe, you'd watch over our team members. And Lord, beyond that, we thank you for the military men and women around the world who protect our freedom each day. We ask your care, your watch, your provision, and your guidance and your guard around them as they protect our freedoms. And all these things I say and pray, and I pray in the name of Jesus, amen.
Please welcome a member of the Music Mafia, North Carolina's own Damian Horn, as he performs God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the ocean wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Oh, God bless America, my home, sweet home.
The 24th Sprint All-Star Race is ready to roll. We know it's going to rock. You will see it when we return on Speed. It's a beautiful night for racing, a perfect night for winning $1 million. Welcome back to Speed's coverage of the 24th All-Star Race. A lot of horsepower, and we are getting ready for plenty of heroism and hysteria. Well, on most nights, I'm down in the pits, but I'm happy to be up here alongside Jeff Hammond. Now, my question, though, I kind of thought I was irreplaceable, but I thought.
What do you mean
well,
by that?
Down in the pits, I didn't think anyone could do the job that I do and carry lip gloss while doing it. I don't know if this guy is. Steve Burns.
Nobody can do that.
No?
Nah.
Steve Burns found somebody who can.
Yeah, and I hope he's not carrying lip gloss. Are you carrying lip gloss?
No, I'm not. But if I need some, I'll ask Hammond for it.
All right, now listen, Carl,
Just remember, you said that.
I know. You're going to get me back. I know.
I can hear you.
Now listen, you have a pit road assignment. You
Yes.
cannot be freelancing. I see you've already done some research and you've talked to David Reagan.
Yes, I talked to David Reagan. I was actually there on the scene when Jack Roush walked up and said, David, all the things I tell you before a regular race, he said, forget that. Just go for it, do whatever you want, be aggressive, and it doesn't matter what you bring back. So that's a little insight into David's mind right now. He wants to win this thing bad.
Now that was some in-depth reporting. I'm impressed with what you've done right there.
It just happened. I really don't know.
Where are your notes? Where's your research? Where's your pit road
Well,
grid?
I'm
You don't
going to
even
do
know
kind
where
of
you're
like
going.
I did in school. I'm just going to look off yours. If,
No,
if
you're not.
Dick Bergen's going to be kind of near me. I could cheat off him a little bit. We're just going to have some fun. I'm just glad I'm pit reporting in this race and not the All-Star event like I was last year. That was tough.
You bring up a very good point, and I'm looking forward to having you as a colleague once again. Thank you.
All right,
Carl.
yeah, and I'm looking forward to how Jeff Hammond gets me back later.
Just remember, Krista, we will have the last word up here later on the
We
night when he
always
is
do.
running
We
the
always
All-Star
do.
race.
Aerial coverage tonight brought to you by Advanced Auto Parts. Keep the wheels turning. But if Carl Edwards is looking off the notes of Steve Burns, Dick Berggren, and Matt Yoakum, that he is definitely in good shape.
I told you had nothing to worry about. He's already having to cheat to be able to keep up with you.
All right, then I guess I'm in good shape.
You
maybe.
are. But I'm glad you're up here with me.
I'm full of more hot air. But yes, I'm glad to be up here. And you know, 24 years ago, a tradition began. Tonight, the next chapter of All-Star Racing will be written. You see the drivers already buckled into their cars, intense looks on their face as we get ready to go racing. It's the Sprint All-Star Showdown. Your wish is this track's command.
Please welcome back Sprint customers Sergeant Josh Fussell and Sergeant First Class Mark Bright as they deliver those most famous words in motorsports.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
The roar of the engines acts like a fuse as the star power ignites. These truly are all-stars. You'll see them race next on Speed. Speed's presentation of the NASCAR Sprint All-Star Showdown is presented by Sprint. For more Sprint Cup Series information, go to sprint.com. Speed by Husqvarna. To find your local Husqvarna Total Source dealer, visit masteryourgreatoutdoors.com. By Claritin Allergy Products, live Claritin Clear. And by Craftsman. Craftsman tools are the official tools of NASCAR. Craftsman at Sears. Tonight's All-Star race, less pressure, but more excitement. And as we take a look back, we mentioned the very first All-Star race, 1985, a very familiar name, a very familiar face, winning that first All-Star race. Jeff Hammond was his crew chief, and Darrell Waltrip was the driver. Mike Joy, Larry McReynolds, and Darrell are up in the booth.
I called that race, Krista, and that was quite a day and quite a memory with Darrell blowing up at the finish line, coasting into victory lane. But you got the, what was it, $200,000?
$200,000, and that's the 24th year in a row that engine's blown up. I've seen it every replay.
And the results are the same.
Always the same.
There was enough of that engine left to measure, however, and it was legal.
Yeah.
Tonight's a lot about the driver, but Larry, so many of the crews of these teams live within a 30-mile radius of Lowe's Motor Speedway and work there all week long. Their families are in the grandstand. This is not just about bragging rights and dollars. It's about a lot of pride.
No, I mean, we're home for the next 2 weeks, and you have their families, their friends. You have guys out of the shop that never go to a racetrack. They're out here. But the thing about it, when you look at this showdown, this is All-Star night. So if it's All-Star night, you want to be in the All-Star race. And the only way you're going to get there besides a fan vote is finish first or second, like Jack Roush told David Reagan, get me in the All-Star or maybe bring me back a steering wheel.
Darrell, one big difference between our All-Star game and other sports, our stars get paid depending on how they finish.
Well, there is a lot of money. I mean, you can transfer out of this race with a lot of money going into the All-Star race. But here's the thing about it. If you like down and dirty, if you like short and sweet, well, hang on, because we got 40 laps of down and dirty, short and sweet racing coming right at you.
And that's just the Showdown.
That's the Showdown.
Then comes the All-Star race. Here's our sprint starting grid for the Sprint Showdown. 2 drivers from this race. The first 2 finishers will transfer into the All-Star race, and the fan voting, which is now closed, will determine the 3rd driver who will transfer. Elliott Sadler is on the pole next to Brian Vickers.
Let's see if we can get Elliott on the radio here. Elliott Sadler on the pole. This is DW. Hey, buddy, out early last week, on the pole tonight. You're surrounded by young lions. Can you hold them off for 40 laps?
I hope so. Man, we got ourselves a fast race car. We qualified where we need to. It's all about track position. Just a fun event for, I think, fans and drivers alike. I know you've caused a few exciting races here yourself, so hopefully we can race into it and be there in the big show later on tonight.
Hey, Elliott, how'd the fan vote go? Have you heard anything? You going to get in the big show, or can you just drive your way into it?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything yet, DW, so we're just going to try to race our way in. Finish in the first 2 spots, hopefully win this thing. I mean, that's our goal. So if I race my way in, I feel like I deserve to be in that big showdown tonight and go for that $1 million and get that big old trophy. So you got any advice for me? I know you've kind of been on both ends of this race.
It's short track Saturday night, baby. You're at South Boston. You got 20 laps and a little break and 20 more. Bring me back the steering wheel or don't come back at all.
Well, actually, that's the same advice Ray Evernham gave me about 10 minutes before the race started. So looks like great minds think alike. But we're going to have fun tonight. Hope to give my boys something to cheer about. This Stanley Dodge has been fast, so we'll see what happens.
Boogity, 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 baby.
Well, for South Boston, the Bologna Burger stand is open. Here's our Mahindra Tractor's keys to the Showdown, Larry.
As we say, we're going to get a caution after 20 laps. So you want to be smart in that segment 1. You want to finish as high as you can, but don't be too impatient. 1 shot to make it right. These guys, I'm sure they're going to hit pit road, come to the attention of those crew chiefs and crews. They'll make adjustments, probably change 4 tires. That's the only shot you're going to get to make it just like you need it for the end. You know, we talk about big picture. The big picture here, there's no points, is finish 1st or 2nd, or you get to watch the All-Star race on speed later on. Load her up and go home.
Let's get some late stories from pit road.
You guys are exactly right. I mean, what Darrell said, it's down and dirty racing. I could see it in Elliott Sadler's eyes there when we were getting ready to start, and I could definitely hear it in his voice. I mean, these guys know it's points are out the window. As a driver, your mindset right now is just to go out here, see what you can do in 40 laps. So I think it's going to be very exciting. I'm glad I'm down here watching. Matt, what do you got down there?
Well, in 2005 and 2006 combined, Casey Kane won 7 times, but last year winless. That means he's in the last chance race. His mentality, much like a Saturday night in the old USAC days at Winchester, IRP. You've got to get into the big money show, and his big concern is just being too loose too early, Steve.
Well, Matt, the All-Star festivities started Thursday night here in Uptown Charlotte, and Brian Vickers' pit crew won the Sprint Pit Crew Challenge. Brian's hoping to earn his way into the big race tonight. He starts 2nd tonight, Dick Berggren.
11 drivers have won their first ever Sprint Cup trophy here on All-Star Night. Sam Hornish, Indy 500 champion, hopes he is going to make it number 12. He's got a good starting position and a fast car.
Sadler, Vickers, the front row. Reagan, Allmendinger, Robbie Gordon, always exciting to watch with Dave Blaney. Joe Nemechek with Hornish. Riggs, a former winner, with Travis Kvapil. That's your first 10 as we get ready to go.
We do need to mention this race here, not the All-Star race, was an impound race. These teams could not work on the car after they qualified. All right, DW, we only got 40 laps if we want to race that All-Star race. So you know what? You better reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time.
Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go All-Star racing, boys.
Joe Nemechek in the 78 car, he's in trouble already.
He's already pulled down. And folks, the first few laps of this race are going to be some of the wildest racing you'll see for a while, because you got to get it done in a hurry.
And a car in the wall, turn
Looks
3.
like the 49 car.
Chad McCumbee.
Whoa, somebody slapped it off turn 4. I believe that was the 15 car. And the 12 bumped the wall, I believe.
Well, that didn't take long. I believe that was J.J. Ayling got up there as well. Well, Elliott Sadler second. Brian Vickers takes off with the lead. Here comes his teammate Allmendinger looking for second.
And I think this is what's going to make all our racing tonight so exciting. As we saw it yesterday, we've got 2 or 3 grooves of racing at the bottom and at the top.
Hornish in the top groove. Ooh, Sadler slipped up getting off turn 2, and Allmendinger's going to take second.
And I think the problem, DW, is right now we got trouble on the back straightaway.
Big wreck over there off 2, yep.
Patrick Carpentier by himself.
You know, and it looked like maybe something was going on over there, because Elliott kind of slipped off that corner, and there's a Carpentier into the wall also.
Yeah, something happened to Sadler on the exit of turn number 2. The car just about stopped coming off the corner, and Allmendinger went right past him. Let's show you what happened to Sadler first. That's right in the middle of the 19.
And Darrell, if you notice, he went from shade, a nice cool racetrack, to the sun, just lost that grip.
Yeah, the car just got a little bit loose with him. All of a sudden he had to get out of the throttle. Doesn't take much, man. These guys are up on the wheel right now.
And there's Carpentier around.
You know, he was pretty lucky last night at qualifying. Not so lucky tonight.
And he was way up the racetrack, like he'd already chased it all the way up against the wall.
He gets loose. He gets loose way back in the corner, Larry. I mean, that's on corner exit, and he just couldn't do anything with it.
I have heard that since he announced his streaking strategy, that he has received quite an uptick in the fan voting.
But don't you have to be you have to have a car that's at least raceable?
Yes, and that's a change from what we've been saying all week, Darrell. A careful reading of the rules and a correction to us. The car does not have to finish on the lead lap, but it must be raceable to transfer into the main event.
One thing we need to mention, in the first 20 laps that we're in now, the cautions count. Second 20, she's 20 green flag laps.
Speed's coverage of the Sprint All-Star Showdowns presented by Sprint. For more Sprint Cup Series information, go to sprint.com/speed. Speed is beautiful. By Target, red means go. And by Victory, the new American motorcycle. Find your local dealer at victorymotorcycles.com. Getting ready to go green, the cars that have been in the wall: Chad McCumbee, Paul Menard, David Gilliland, Scott Riggs. So far, here we go, green flag.
You know, one thing you have to watch on these restarts here at Charlotte particularly, this front straightaway is flat. It's real easy to spin your tires when you get on to put the foot under 850 horsepower.
Oh, Allmendinger got into Sadler.
Yeah, it's like Allmendinger went up the racetrack, got into the back of him.
Oh, no.
Caution is out again.
That car is
Still
killed.
coming at you. You got 4 more to come, guys. Let's go to the garage. That's it.
Yeah, they got down in the middle of turn 1 and 2, and Allmendinger just went up the racetrack.
You know,
Kenny
the number
Francis,
of cars that have climbed the track in that area. I wonder if there was something, if there is something.
You know,
on
that's the second time we've seen that. Actually, it's the third time. Elliott had a problem there earlier.
Now watch the 84.
He just got up there and got into him.
Misjudged.
Yep.
Well, we've had 2 cautions, and they each have been for a Gillette Evernham car.
Yeah, you see the 84 just gets us, it's pushing up the hill right there. Just clips the back of Elliott's car. And you know, if it was a 500-mile race, 600-mile race, I'd say too aggressive too early. But man, you just can't leave anything out there.
Getting off the road now, guys. Yeah, I'm done. I mean, I'm 100% done.
Wow.
Just let them know you drove it back.
Jeff Green will get the free pass. Oh, that's done.
Yeah, it's killed. You know, it's a shame. Last week, Elliott had a good car at Darlington, and he got down into turn 1 under Tony Stewart, and they collided and took him out of the race. Here he is, a second lap tonight.
And he had a heck of a good run through 1 and 2. I think he was going to get the lead off turn 2 on the run he had.
Now, even if Elliott gets the fan vote, that car can't run. All right, Steve Burns was listening in on Allmendinger's radio. Steve.
Yeah, Mike, and he just mentioned to his crew chief, Timmy Fedowa, he said, I feel bad about that. I was tucked under him, and the nose jumped up on me.
Well, it did, Steve. I mean, we could see that. The car just pushed up and clipped the back of Elliott's car. You can see the little bit of damage right there on the right front fender. Slight damage to the 84 car, and the 19 car's out of the race.
Now, Scott Riggs got this damage. You see the yellow on the side of his Chevy before the first caution.
You know, we talk about this car and how tough it is, but these things are wall magnets. They just go up there and find that wall. I think there's hardly a race we've had in the last several that the right side of everybody's car isn't all skin up.
Would you buy the fact they're wider?
They're wider, track's narrower, going fast. What do you think it is?
Want to win a trip to the 2009 NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race? Your chance is coming up tonight on Speed. NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race Watch and Win Contest. Later on tonight, we'll have 2 questions at different times about the race. If you answer them correctly, you can win. Log on to speedtv.com, keyword win, and pre-register now. Stay tuned and play later on. These questions are not that hard, but you must pay attention.
Larry, my opinion about the cars is it's just like that skewing them sideways has gotten out of hand. These cars, I think these guys have figured out they can rub them up against the wall, and so they do. I mean, I think they just are being a little more reckless with this car. I've felt that for the last several weeks.
Continues to prove that week in and week out.
Matt?
And Elliott's pulled his car back to the garage. I don't think some Stanley Tools is going to help fix that. I know it's second straight week you've had some big-time disappointment, Elliott.
Yeah, I mean, this is just tough season. It's hard to have such a fast race car and come in here and really want to race our way into the All-Star race. And, you know, I think we just got flat taken out, you know, by whatever his name is. So,
Allmendinger.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason he keep taken out of that car, it seems like every other week. So just a shame. I'm just proud of my guys bouncing back from Darlington, coming here with the Stanley Dodge, and we were fast. And it's just a shame that we didn't get a chance to race our way into the All-Star race. We didn't get a chance, you know, so just hate it for my guys right now.
All right, thank you, Elliott.
Thanks a lot.
Well, we've completed 9 laps. Caution laps count in this first 20 lap segment. The second segment is green flag only, and all restarts are double file. So that means that the Toyota front runners, Brian Vickers and A.J. Allmendinger, will line up together on the front row. Dave Blaney back in 6th. That legend is the Beast of the Southeast on the wall. That's one of the nicknames of Lowe's Motor Speedway.
I sort of had a little help in naming that, giving that name to this racetrack. Humpy called me, and we kind of conspired on that a little bit.
You know, we need to mention the first 2 cautions, you know, 2 Gillette Evernham cars, but the biggest mover so far with very few green flag laps, Casey Kanan, the 9 car, started back in 15th. He's already up in the top 10 in 9th.
Digger's on duty tonight. Green flag.
He's got his game face on. Well, I kind of warned Elliott, you know, when they dropped the green flag, I said, you're surrounded by these young bucks. You got to kind of keep your eyes open, bud. Well, we got him at the front of the field, and here goes Allmendinger. He's high, wide, and handsome off of 2 over there.
It just seems like, especially on a restart, you get that thing wound up on the high side. We've seen it on the start of the race and these 2 restarts.
Well, all through practice, that high line has been really paying off for a lot of these guys. And last night, even in the truck race, they were able to run pretty high around here early on. Normally, you got to work it in, but it's just there this year.
Dave Blaney got a good jump on the outside in turn 2. Robbie Gordon moved up the hill to hold on to 4th place.
I think the guy that's looming in the right spot right now is that guy running 3rd. Look at this pair of Toyotas over right now.
But I really believe David Reagan needs to go by our first key. Be smart in this first segment. He's got a car that can win this race.
Yeah, look at that thing going to the bottom, Larry. Now, the other guys are washing up, and he's right there on the bottom. Got that Mark Martin look to it. Hunting that white line with that left tire.
Here comes Reagan inside for 2nd.
Got to be careful down there in the bottom of turn 1 and 2. Seemed a little slick down there, but he's able to power up out of there and go into 2nd place. He's lit the fuse in that Fusion, I'm telling you.
Carl,
Yeah, guys, I've been watching this, and I think Allmendinger is going to fall back. I think he's too tight. You know, I saw what happened with Elliott there. I think David's got a nice freed-up car. I believe Allmendinger is going to the back, guys, with a tight race car.
And Carl, that's one thing about it. You guys in the All-Star race and this race, your practice was in the middle of the day, and you're racing here in the twilight and the night.
Well, just think about that 83 car here last year in the 600. He had a car that could have won the 600 last year. He gets you. Brian Vickers loves this racetrack. Gets around here great.
From sunlight to shade, still a lot of sun down the backstretch and into turn 3.
Little contact there between the 70 and the 22 off turn 4. Everybody made it though.
And Blaney now backing up after getting a good restart. Hornish goes past. Gilliland on his back bumper.
David Gilliland's made a pretty good jump in this race in that 38 car. He started back in 16th, and here he is battling Dave Blaney for the 7th spot right now.
5 laps to go in this first segment when they come by at the start-finish line.
Did I not tell you short and sweet?
Dick, what's wrong with Robbie Gordon?
Flowing water. Robbie Gordon in the 4th position. Car number 7 overheating very badly, so badly it's blowing water. You can see it. And of course, there could be other issues here, but this is one of those races. We talk about being aggressive. You tend to get aggressive with tape on the nose to really help the front downforce. They maybe got too aggressive with it.
Well, Larry, can he do something to it at the break?
Well, it's not really a break. It's just a caution.
Just a caution, so he can't work on it.
You heard the spotter say he's got paper on the grill and wants him to rub it off on the back bumper of the car ahead of him. Whoa.
I can't see nothing.
He got down on the apron and the car really kicked up there.
I don't see any paper on the grill. Maybe there's some there that we're not seeing, but I don't see anything.
There it is, Darrell. A little bit of plastic, clear plastic.
Must be a piece of tear off.
Stanton Barrett has taken his car to the garage. He'll bank $32,000 for tonight's work.
Where's up, guys?
Johnny Sauter going at it with Sam Hornish, the 77.
And I tell you, that 77 is making a nice run up through the field, Larry. He's passed several cars, and the car looks like it's working pretty good, even though it's running cockeyed.
And you know the thing about it, he ran more laps than anybody in that practice yesterday.
I think there's a method to the madness with this car, though. I think this is the car that got NASCAR's attention about how sideways they've got these things turned.
Look at those 2 cars there. Sam Hornish and Johnny Sauter. That's 2 cars has to qualify on time next week. Now you can see that Brian Vickers, with about 2 laps before the caution, has stretched his lead out to almost a second over David Reagan in the 6.
There's the gap.
Hey, Vickers is doing it, man.
And Robbie Gordon trying to hang on to 4th place to the caution and then get to pit road. Get that radiator inlet untaped.
Well, we saw Jeff Gordon run about 50, 75 miles at Darlington with steam coming out of his car, and he won the race. So a little water blowing out ain't going to hurt anything.
After the field comes through to complete lap 20, we'll see the caution flag ending this first segment of the Sprint Showdown. 2 cars transfer to the All-Star race, plus the fan vote after the next 20-lap segment. There's the halfway flag.
I think if you're going to beat that 83 car, Larry, you're going to have to get in front of him on the restart here. Only way you're going to beat him, because he got a fast car.
Caution is out. Segment 1 is over.
Back it down.
Brian Vickers, the Red Bull Toyota, leads at the end of segment 1 over David Reagan's Ford, A.J. Allmendinger's Toyota, Robbie Gordon and Sam Hornish driving Dodge. Speed's presentation of NASCAR Sprint All-Star Showdown, presented by Sprint. For more Sprint Cup Series information, go to sprint.com. Speed. Speed is beautiful. Delivered in part by UPS. UPS thanks Dale Jarrett for 7 unforgettable years. It's been a great ride, Dale. Amboy Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic. Our ultimate clean. Your ultimate feeling. We're halfway in the Sprint Showdown. Robbie Gordon just went to the garage. Here's Matt.
And the 9 of Casey Kane's service is already complete. They pulled a spring rubber and shuffled the air pressure on the right side tires. He was wrecking loose, Steve.
Brian Vickers had the lead, but they gave it up. He was concerned about a slow leak in the right front tire. He said he had a lot of tire chatter at both ends of the racetrack.
Boy, there's strategy all over the place there. We had a lot of cars that stayed out, including David Reagan, A.J. Allmendinger, Sam Hornish, and Johnny Sauter. So it's going to be interesting here. They only had 13 laps on their tires, though.
Staying out was the winning move in my mind.
8 cars stayed on the racetrack, led by David Reagan. Coming to speed in July, Wrecked. Life in the crash lane. Believe it or not, this has nothing to do with NASCAR. You'll ride with Chicago's toughest family of towers and discover the untold side of the business of towing. You'll get hooked on Wrecked. Life in the crash lane, premiering July 17th exclusively on Speed.
You ever watch that show Low Life?
No.
Yeah, it's about low riders.
Oh, the low riders. Yeah. That's pretty good.
Pretty cool.
That's cool. Pace truck is in. We're set to resume. 20 more laps. Green flag laps count. Double file restarts. 2 cars to transfer. David Reagan, A.J. Allmendinger up front.
Sam Hornish spun the tires in the 77 car. Couldn't get going.
That's what happens sometimes. You stay out and ride around there on your tires. Pick up a lot of debris, and Sam had made a great run. He was sitting there in like 4th or 5th spot, and that's really going to put him back in the field with guys that got new tires now.
Just like we've seen on every restart, A.J. Allmendinger in the top groove in the 84. He got the run off turn 2. He'll take the lead from David Reagan in the 6th. Remember, the top 2 finishers from this race advance to the All-Star race.
And I'm just anxious to see what these 4 tires, how that's going to work out for these guys that stopped. Brian Vickers got 4 tires. I noticed lap times where there's a big difference, about a second difference in old tires to new. So we'll see how this works out.
But let me ask Carl Edwards, who's with us on pit lane. In the first segment, Carl, Allmendinger got tight and fell back. What can he do to keep that from happening this time?
Well, I think he can just stay out there in clean air. That'd be the best thing he could do right now. Jimmy Finnick told David Reagan, just like in Days of Thunder, he said, this set of tires is a great set. They're cool, and we don't need to stop. So David's got a lot of confidence in his AAA Fusion right now.
Oh, 3 wide there mid-pack. Blaney inside.
Nice move for Blaney there, getting down on that and staying on the bottom. Holding that bottom, getting in the corner like that low is hard to do.
Blaney, the 22 car, one of the cars that got 4 tires. Boy, now there comes Vickers in 83. He got those 4 tires.
He just made a great move right there. That might have been a move to get him to the front.
Steve.
Yeah, Mike, just wanted to follow up on what Carl said about the 84 of A.J. Allmendinger. Ricky Byers, the crew chief, told A.J., as the fuel burns off, you'll have more grip on the front end. The car will come to you.
Of course, it gains nose weight, and it tightens the car up, makes it where it's not as loose. Brian Vickers is definitely on the move. I'm just not sure if he's going to be able to get there in that number of laps.
He can't, Larry. He just can't get through the traffic like he needed to get there.
Sorensen, Kane for 4th place.
Whoa, boy, Kane got way out of shape. That's going to allow Vickers to come alongside of him and make the pass. That's a fast car he needs to get around.
Hornish and Vickers take advantage on Casey Kane.
But boy, look at that outside, Larry. That 9 car coming back on the outside. He's going to come right back and pass Vickers back down the back straightaway.
Now Casey Kane in the 9, Kenny Francis took 2 tires under that caution.
6 of the top 10 trying to make their first all-star start. Here comes Sorensen on the outside, and Johnny Sauter gives him just enough room.
I got to tell you guys, I just think without a caution here, staying out, getting that clean air on the nose is really paying off.
Sorensen clears Sauter. Here comes Hornish. Vickers advances on Kane, clears him.
I still say that 77 car, Larry, had he not spun the tires on that restart, he would have been a guy that they'd have had to work with.
Absolutely no question. He's got a fast race car. He has all weekend long.
A.J. Allmendinger setting sail. David Reagan. Reagan still has 1.3 seconds on the 3rd place car, which is now Sorensen.
And that's what's important. You know, David Reagan, yeah, I'm sure he'd love to win this race, but the biggest thing, he wants to race in the All-Star race. And if he finishes where he's at right now, he'll be there.
Two to transfer. There they are. And this pack trying to run them down.
Yeah.
Carl.
Yeah, Reed Sorensen said his car is slipping up in 3 and 4. It's a little too loose, too free to get back to the gas. So I believe the longer he runs.
Car to the wall, turn 2.
That's hard, hitting the wall for Johnny Sauter.
Looked like a right front tire. The car just shot up the hill.
And that was a car that did not pit under the caution. That's not the caution, though, that A.J. Allmendinger and David Reagan wanted to see.
No, because I tell you, 2 cars that are quicker than they are is Brian Vickers' 83, and that 77 car is fast, too. Watch this car, Larry. He goes down into turn 1, and, buddy, all of a sudden, right about there, right front tire for sure.
No question on that. Straight to the wall.
Brian Vickers and Casey Kane did a great job of scooting to the bottom and missing Sauter. It'll be a double file restart. 27 laps complete, 13 to go in the showdown. Only green flag laps count at this stage.
Now remember this is what's going to be interesting. Remember how the high line has been working on every restart. David Reagan in the 6 is going to be on the outside, and guess who's going to be right behind him? That 77 car.
Then that car is bad fast off of turn 2. The thing I would worry about with 84 alongside of me is how he pushed up on that last restart when he took Elliott out.
Carl, what about David Reagan and this restart?
Yeah, he's telling his crew right now he thinks the outside has an advantage. He's got a little bit of a chatter in the right front, but he believes that the outside, you know, just like you guys saw earlier, is the place to start this thing.
Carl, every restart, the outside has prevailed. There is no question going through 1 and 2.
Yeah, well, what happens is you're so aggressive here, and the tire is so slippery on this surface. The guy on the bottom gets a little bit of that side draft or whatever you want to call it, tries to suck him around. You just can't go very fast on the inside.
Keep those rear tires cleaned up, though. That's what happened to Hornish.
Yep. Those hind tires.
Hind tires. There you go.
What every short track fan likes to see, what every driver dreads. Full moon Saturday night.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the double file restart.
No, we love that.
I tell you, that's it. I love it. I wish that NASCAR would do it on all the races.
But every race fan believes that when there's a full moon on Saturday night, race cars develop a magnetic attraction for one another.
Yeah, the earth starts breathing in and out, and the cars seem to react to it. And I tell you, that 77 checking up. Look out, here he comes.
Look at him on the high side, going to the high side of Dave Reagan in 6. But talking about getting on with it, that 84 car was shot out of a rocket on that restart.
I'll tell you, though, I've been watching that 77. If he hadn't spun the wheels on that last restart, he would have been there already. But this cat's coming.
He's got to go, Darrell.
Watch this. He's going to get him off turn 2. Here he comes. You better block him. He did.
Reagan came up to block because second is the only position here that matters.
Boy, they got a run on that 84 car going down into turn 3.
Well, I think that Reagan, seeing Reagan drove into 3 right there and overdrove the corner, got up the hill. I don't know how Sam will be on the bottom. This is going to be real testy right here. His car seems to work good around the top.
Reagan takes it in right with him. Whoa, and they almost touch.
Hang on to her, buddy.
David Reagan got away with it. Look at the run he got off turn 2 in that 6 car this time.
Yeah, Sam had to get out of the gas. I don't think Sam's good on the bottom. It's got to be an outside pass.
Tell you who else is on the move. David Gilliland in that 38 car right up against Reed Sorensen in the 41. Sorensen gets him to the outside wall.
Put him in the wall. 38 put the 41 in the wall.
Gilliland just drove it down into turn 3 and 4. 8 wheels is better than 4.
That 77 gets such an incredible run off turn 2. Only thing that Reagan blocking him, and he ought to be all right. But he better be careful. That 77 is fast. That thing is bad fast.
Third place goes home. Allmendinger, Reagan, and just 1 car length back, Hornish.
And while those guys are going at it, Allmendinger is running some of his fastest lap that he's run in the last 10 or 12 laps, but the track is cooling down. It's getting grip.
The only way Sam's going to get around the 6 of Reagan is he's going to have to try to do it on the inside, and his car's just not that good down on the bottom.
They'll be coming to 8 to go this time.
Hornish has a run coming off turn 4. Reagan up to block. Hornish to the bottom, squeezes down there.
I don't like this. I don't like him going in on the bottom unless he can clear him. He's got to clear him to make it. He stuck it. He stuck it on the bottom, and he's going to make the pass.
Clear, all clear, all clear.
Slid up in front of him. He'll get second place away. Remember, this is not for second place. This is for who will race in the All-Star race.
He'll get after that 84 now, Larry, because he's good. He's so good and fast around the top.
All right, Carl Edwards, now what can David Reagan do?
I don't know if he can do much, man. I'm down here just kicking stuff. You know, Sam Hornish is so fast on the top. He's got that thing yawed out. I don't know how many, what he's got going on there, but it's looking good. It looks like Sam Hornish is marching to the front of this thing.
But Carl, I think the right front tire is gone on the 6 car. He's losing ground now.
Hey, Carl, he looks like one of those what do you call those cars? The sliders, the gliders,
drifters.
A drifter. That 77 looks like a drifter coming through the tri-oval.
Yeah, and I'm sure David Reagan can tell you all about how it looks right now. I bet he's furious. You know.
Well,
yeah.
The problem is it's getting smaller and smaller, though.
Yeah, he can see the left side number going down the straightaway.
Well, hopefully Hornish gets greedy and goes up there and they get in a little bit of a trouble and David can get him back. But Hornish is doing an unbelievable job right now, guys.
You know, he is. And Carl, he ran the most laps of anybody in practice. And look at that thing going down the straightaway.
Yeah, and I really like how he's going in on the top. He's sailing it down in there, and I can't believe he made it stick on the bottom. That thing looked loose, and he made it happen.
Oh, by the way, Carl, it's a good job on Hammond. I got his makeup bag. I hid it.
All right, cool.
Yeah, Hollywood Hammond lip gloss at dwstore.com beginning Monday. Sam Hornish right now is the fastest car on the racetrack. He's a few hundredths of a second quicker than A.J. Allmendinger. He might catch the dinger before this one's over, but he doesn't have to. The first 2 positions transfer to the main event.
Do you know what this young man in the 77, all he's thinking about is he wants to win a race of any kind. I mean, it is, you know, we're coming up on Memorial Day weekend. I think Sam would love to get a little something going into next week.
4 to go.
That was Chris Carrier telling Sam Hornish that he basically beat A.J. Allmendinger that time by almost 2/10 of a second.
Oh, Larry, he is, when he gets a run off of the top of the corner, you cannot stop him. Allmendinger is stuck to the bottom. Hornish is around the top. He should be able to make the pass.
So if you're Allmendinger, do you let him go?
Well, if I was driving Allmendinger's car, I would. But I'm not Allmendinger, and I'm pretty sure he won't.
You know, Artie Kempner, our director, just asked me what's the money difference. It doesn't matter. I'm hearing $10,000, but you know what? They want to be in the All-Star race. That's what this night is about.
But to transfer, you must first finish in one of those 2 spots. So here comes Hornish.
Look at that thing. Where Sam is so good is middle off. That thing accelerates off the corner like it's shot out of a cannon.
Well, 2 to go. He's got 3 miles to get it done. This thing's shaping up. We're going to get one of those Lowe's Motor Speedway finishes.
Here he goes. I mean, watch him come off 2 over here. Watch this thing. Here he goes. Allmendinger's going to have to come up in front of him and block him just like Reagan did earlier.
Looks like Hornish may try to go to the bottom going down in turn 3 and 4. We'll see what happens. We'll be coming to the white flag this time.
Now, that's what you don't want to do. You don't want to take yourself out of this race. Not when you're running first and second.
Oh, Hornish looked loose. Checkers or wreckers, 1 to go.
Now, these 2 guys, somebody needs to tell them both, hey, you're in the next race. Take it easy.
Absolutely, absolutely.
At this point, you just want to finish right where you are.
And you know what? The man that would normally be up on the roof telling Sam Hornish that, he's in Indy right now.
Car owner Roger Penske.
Just ride it on out, boys. You're in the next race. Ride it out. Bring them home.
Take what you can. Take what you can get.
Oh, boy.
Behind you.
Last corner. Hornish high, dips low. Allmendinger covers the bottom and wins the sprint showdown. Sam Hornish is second. Third doesn't matter.
They will watch the rest of the night on speed. But you know what? When you look at A.J. Allmendinger, the 84 car, remember, he missed the first 3 races of the year, did not qualify, set out the next 5 races, qualified for the last 3, and now he's a winner at Lowe's Motor Speedway.
And you know where he's probably going to go right away? Looking for Elliott Sadler, because he's going to have to make, he's going to have to make amends with Elliott.
Carl Edwards, thanks for joining us. Have a great night.
All right, thanks for having me, guys. That was fun. Hopefully I feel just like Allmendinger does here in about a couple hours. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you very much.
Good luck, buddy.
Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot. Have fun tonight. A.J. Allmendinger and Sam Hornish will both be in NASCAR's All-Star race for the first time tonight.
Welcome back to Speed's coverage of the NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race. People from all over the country have gathered to watch the big event. We'd like to say hi to our friends at the big event. A.J. Allmendinger, the winner of the Showdown. Sam Hornish Jr. finishes second. Matt Yoakum is with our winner.
A big confidence booster for A.J. Allmendinger. Can you even put into words what this means? And also, you're looking ahead to the next chapter, the big money show.
I mean, heck, I feel like I won the Daytona 500. Nobody understands how much this means to me after what we went through as a team. It may be just a all-star showdown, but this means the world to me. And I mean, these guys, everybody at Red Bull Racing, Toyota, I mean, they've stuck behind me. We had a good test here, and you know, I got to thank Sam. He was quicker than me at the end, and you know, he may have had a chance to go out there and get his win. And you know, he raced me clean, knowing that we were both in. But you know, I thank him for that. But yes.
There you have it. He's moving on to the big money show, Dick Berggren.
Well, Sam Hornish, this stock car stuff isn't so easy. How big is this for you?
It's real big. You know, all the guys on the Mobile One Dodge did a great job for me. You know, we put together a good car that we think is pretty equal to our Coca-Cola 600 car. So we're real happy that we made it through the showdown. You know, one mistake by myself, which put us back in the pack, and we had to work our way through. So I was just real happy. I knew we had a car that could do it, and we feel like we got a real good car over the long run. So hopefully we'll run well in the All-Star race as well.
Great job. Steve Burns.
Well, Dick, Casey Kane did not win the race, but Casey, we're pleased to tell you that the fans have voted you into the All-Star race.
That's awesome. You know, I'd love to race my way in, get into that race by winning races, whatever, but we have great fans, and it's pretty cool that they voted for us, got us in the race, and we need all the fan support we can have, and they stuck behind us. So I was going to head home, probably drink a couple Budweisers and watch the All-Star race, but thanks to the fans, I get to race.
Might have to wait a few hours. Congratulations.
All right, thank you.
Chris Avoda.
All right, thanks a lot, Steve. Congratulations to Casey Kane, A.J. Allmendinger, and Sam Hornish. They are moving on, and that means they have a chance, Jeff, for $1 million.
$1 million, and right now, Sam Hornish, as Darrell Waltrip likes to say, he's bad fast. You better be watching at 77.
And like A.J. Allmendinger said, he feels like he just won the Daytona 500. That's all that mattered in that race, first and second, and now they have to jump back in their cars and get ready for a whole nother shootout.
They're all warmed up, and a lot of these guys right here, they may have to go to school on them two kids.
All right, well, it's time for the first of our two watch and win questions of the night. Do you know the total number of caution flags that occurred during that sprint showdown? If you know the answer, play by filling out the form at speedtv.com, keyword win, and choosing the correct answer. You can also play by texting the correct answer 1234 to speed3. That's 773333 on your mobile phone. If you answer both of tonight's questions right, you'll have a chance to win the grand prize, a trip to the 2009 All-Star race, and much more. Good luck. We'll be right back with more All-Star 2008. All-Star coverage on Speed. Aerial coverage brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. Keep the wheels turning. The lights are on. The sky is dark. Let's go ahead and take a look at highlights from the race we just saw, the Sprint Showdown. Jeff Hammond, here's the start.
Yeah, 19 right now. Elliott Sadler on the pole at the start of the race, but you know, it wasn't too long after that we see guys getting together. 84 gets in the back of Elliott Sadler, ends his evening and his hopes at advancing.
And I know Sadler was one of the guys you picked to do well, but look at this. David Reagan, he was also doing well. That's Sam Hornish, though, passing him to put himself in position.
And right there at the end, we see A.J. Allmendinger being followed very closely by Sam Hornish, but it was A.J. Allmendinger that was able to get in the victory lane for his first NASCAR victory.
Unbelievable. And of course, the big show is coming. Here are the results from that showdown. And like we said, Jeff, I mean, you see a lot of names depending on where your favorite driver is, but the only ones that matter, those top two, and Casey Kane as well.
He got the vote. I mean, he got in there again. Casey Kane said he would rather race his way in, but the fans were able to give him a second chance, and he'll be starting this All-Star event.
And of course, the other guys, they're going to be watching the All-Star race just like you are at home. And that's coming up here in just a bit. But it was a great showdown. We knew it would be. And when we come back, the big show gets ever closer. In other All-Star events, the drivers turn down invitations. Here, they're tearing down the door to get in. We'll meet the drivers when we come back. The 24th annual Sprint All-Star Race. Lowe's Motor Speedway, the venue. You see that the lights are on, the stage getting set as we get ever closer to the big event. And this year we have 4 segments, 25 laps each. You can hear the crowd, the thunder kind of starting to roar from the crowd as we get ready to meet those drivers. But we already had the Sprint Showdown. Jeff Hammond, Chris Avoda,
Krista, what amazes me right now is we're watching this kind of develop. This has just been set up moments ago, basically during our commercial break. All of a sudden, we got this huge stage. It kind of reminds me of the lights and the glitter of Las Vegas and the excitement that goes along with it. I mean, it is truly an all-star kind of feel about it right now.
And from our vantage point, we actually saw the trucks roll out onto the track to set up that stage. You see some drivers there behind the stage along with their crews. Remember, this event is unique in that the crews get recognition. They get introduced on that stage as well.
See, it's not always about the drivers, even though Darrell will tell me real quick, the driver is the most important part of this deal, but this is what's important. They get an opportunity to walk out in front of their friends as well as their family. Again, they get all jacked up about this. I mean, everybody's really getting pumped about this race here coming up in just a few minutes.
And here you see we've actually moved. We've moved locations. We are now located on, I guess, your baby, our giant pit box.
It's our big pit box tonight. It's our command post. But the key thing about it, think about it like this. We're down here on pit road. We're a part of this race tonight, probably more than ever, having an opportunity to sit up on the pit box, watch all the time and scoring monitors going on, plus be able to feel exactly the same kind of energy that the pit crews are. I've been able to watch it from here, and we got an opportunity to watch Sam Hornish's crew a little while ago. They were all pumped up, cheering their driver on, and that's what it's all about, getting all excited about how important this really all-star event is.
Well, we obviously feel the energy down here on pit road, but I know there's plenty of energy up top where Mike Joy is standing by. Mike, your thoughts on that first showdown there?
Well, it was wild, Krista. I mean, as we expected, I do think that Sam Hornish just did the smart thing in the last couple of laps. Perhaps saw that he couldn't clear A.J. Allmendinger in the time remaining without there being some contact. He had his eye on the big picture, Darrell, and they both transferred.
I really think that those two cars, I mean, they ran great lap times, Larry. And even though they're starting in the back, I tell you, through those segments, they can get their way. They could win this race.
I think they got two cars better than about half the field that's already qualified for the All-Star race.
Now, Darrell, watching that race, if you were in the All-Star race tonight, what would you have learned from the showdown?
The high line. It looked to me like that high line was really, really working. Off of both corners, you could get so much straightaway speed. That's what I'd be thinking about.
Larry, the idea of tires or not?
Well, I think a lot depends on how many laps you have on your tires. You know, those guys didn't have a lot of laps. Obviously, cars that stayed out prevailed.
Place here on the stage at Lowe's Motor Speedway, and there Kyle Busch taking a bow and Jeff Hammond taunting the crowd a little bit, if you will.
Yeah, we had an opportunity to see all those superstars coming out and getting ready. And here is Dale Jarrett completing his lap here in the big brown truck, his final race in this all-star event here at Lowe's Motor Speedway tonight. It's great to see him finally driving the big brown truck, but I know a more appropriate deal would be able to get him to victory lane in his final race here in this great event.
And I'm glad he's not taking it up on the banking right now. You know, a lot of folks wondering how you get into this all-star race. Well, the minds behind Husqvarna, global leader in outdoor power products, they know that to be the best, you need power and performance. Here is a look at the Husqvarna power and performance lineup for tonight's all-star race on speed. Those are our all-star winners. Don't forget the second question of the NASCAR Sprint Watch and Win contest is coming up soon. Don't miss your chance to win a Sprint phone with a year of free Sprint service. If you get both of tonight's questions right, you'll be automatically entered to win the grand prize, a trip to the 2009 All-Star Race and much more. And you can feel the energy building here at Lowe's Motor Speedway.
Can I enter so I can win?
No, you are not eligible. You are already going to be at the 2009 All-Star race. Guts equal glory. That's what the All-Star race is all about. And as we get ever closer, we go back down trackside for tonight's invocation before the 2008 All-Star race.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ask you to please rise and remove your hats as the 14th Weather Squadron U.S. Air Force out of Asheville, North Carolina presents our nation's colors. Now please remain standing as two-time Sprint Cup champion Ned Jarrett delivers tonight's invocation.
Let us pray. Dear God, we come to you with praise and thanksgiving. We praise you for all your good works and all the blessings of life. We thank you for this very special day and this very special event here this evening and ask your blessings on it. We thank you for the talents and the opportunities that you've given DJ and ask that you ride with him one more time. You've been with him more than 20 years, and we thank you for that. Keep he and all the drivers safe. We thank you for the men and women serving around the world to maintain our freedom, and we pray that you'll continue to bless them. Be with all the fans here this evening. May your mercy and blessings shine on each person here. We pray in your name. Amen.
Race fans, please welcome rising country music star and proud Sprint customer, Rissy Palmer, as she performs our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Let's hear it for Rissy Palmer.
As he wipes his eyes, his father led the crowd in prayer. Dale Jarrett will try to lead the crowd to its feet as he gets ready to make his final start behind the wheel. More All-Star Racing here on Speed when we return. It's NASCAR's most electric show. It will take place under a full moon. Our fearless leaders, Mike Joy, Larry McReynolds, and Darrell Waltrip are upstairs. And Mike, if your pulse isn't rising yet, safe to say, you better check it.
Well, it is, Krista. Full moon Saturday night. That was the story of the first night all-star race here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Big crash on the last lap. But, Darrell, what concerns me so far, Calamity Corner, turn number 2, that's where that moon glow seems to shine brightest, and those cars have a magnetic attraction.
Yeah, I think it'll be okay in this race. So I think that was a product of maybe the sun going down and the moon coming up. And I think what you're going to see in this race is you're going to see everybody fighting for that high line. What you got to watch out for is getting down under somebody like you see the 84 car right there pushing up into Elliott Sadler, putting him in the wall. Got to watch that on this start particularly.
Larry, you've got to make one pit stop in this race. You don't have to do anything. Otherwise, pit stops are optional.
But there, you do have to make one pit stop. Between the third and fourth segment, you have to come to pit road. You may just stop in your pits and leave, and I think that's going to be a big strategy. But I think Jeff Gordon said it in the pre-race. I'm feeling excitement here tonight that I hadn't felt in a long time. I think we're going to see some huge surprises here tonight.
Big crowd. Man, what a crowd.
Oh, wow.
Holy smoly.
The first time we raced under the lights for the Winston, as it was then called, and hats off to Jerry Long and Ralph Seagraves and Wayne Robertson, the folks that put this all-star race first together. Boy, it was a wild finish that night, and it's another full moon Saturday night in Charlotte tonight. Let's go trackside.
Here to give the command to fire the engines for the 24th running of the NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race. Please welcome Davidson College Hedge basketball coach Bob McKillop with his coaching staff and 10 fellow Sprint customers.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
The fireworks are in the sky for now. They're coming down to track level when they drop the green flag on the Sprint All-Star Race next here on Speed. Speed's presentation of the NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race presented by Sprint. For more Sprint Cup Series information, go to sprint.com/speed. Speed is beautiful. And brought to you by Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic. Our ultimate clean, your ultimate feeling. And by Home Depot, NASCAR's home improvement warehouse. The field is rolling off pit road and into the night. Brightly lit here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Here is your Sprint All-Star Race starting grid. The unique qualifying format last night, 3 laps including a pit stop. Kyle Busch was fastest. Jeff Gordon will share the front row with Kyle.
Want to see if we can get Carl on the line here. Carl Edwards, DW here. Hey, buddy, last night qualifying was a disaster. How's things up for tonight?
I think I screwed up just about everything I could last night, so hopefully I got that out of my system. It was ugly. So this offense Steve Peters didn't seem to be real fast in practice, and as long as I can get on pit road within about 100 miles an hour, the speed limit tonight will be good.
10-4. Hey, buddy, great job tonight helping us out down there on pit road. You made some good calls. Well, who do you think's the guy to beat tonight, Carl?
I hope you're looking at him right now. I think we're fast. I have a feeling I'm going to have to beat that 18 car to get it done, though. He seemed real good in practice.
All right, my man, 10-4, and I know you'll get it done. Good luck to you, and have a good ride.
All right, DW, you guys have fun and keep hamming out of the makeup section up there.
We will. Larry, how about our Home Depot keys to the race?
Oh, yeah, we got all kinds of keys, but these are the ones we thought were the most important. You know what? It's 100 laps, and we're going to have halftime. So be smart in that first half. You're going to have opportunity to make that car better. Talked about this in the opening. End of segment 3, decisions on the crew chief's shoulders, whether to stop and go 2 tires or 4 tires for those last green flag 25 laps. And you know what we used to say? Drive it like you stole it in those last 25 laps.
Tony Stewart qualified 12th. He will move to the rear because of an engine change.
Yeah, they had a problem early in practice and had to check that engine out, put a new one in, but I think he's going to be good tonight.
All right, let's get out to our NASCAR on Fox and Speed All-Star Pit Crew. Get late reports beginning with Matt Yoakum.
Mike, a driver will tell you winning any race is something special, but you heard Jimmy Johnson's co-car owner say earlier tonight that winning this event, this is something that is a career maker no matter what you've done, won championship, won the big races like Daytona. This is a race that's bragging rights. This is the All-Star Challenge. Now, Jimmy Johnson's won it twice. He's looking for number 3, but he'll have to do it from the back. He rolls off 21st. Steve?
Well, Matt, we all know about the winless streak for Dale Earnhardt Jr. It's now at 73 races, but don't forget, he won the Budweiser Shootout in Daytona, a non-points race, and why not being the hometown favorite? He grew up just 8 miles from here in Kannapolis, North Carolina, and still calls this area home, Dick Berggren.
Well, Jeff Gordon has won the All-Star race on 3 separate occasions, but not since 2001. But tonight, he's got a very fast car. The pit crew helped him get to the front row when the green flag drops. Gordon could be a 4-time winner when the checkered flag drops at the end of the evening.
Inside of those bright yellow walls, painted specially for just this event, 575 gallons of yellow paint to help Lowe's Motor Speedway glow like a jewel in the night. You see it now from our Advance Auto Parts aerial coverage. Advance, keep the wheels turning. Nice crowd on hand as we get ready to go. Four segments to the Sprint All-Star race. Caution laps will count in segment 1. Each segment is 25 laps. Pit stop is optional. Every restart will be double file. And the race leader at the end of this segment banks $75 grand.
That's right. That's what I'm checking off right there, Larry. That's $75,000 to win a 25-lap heat race.
Not too bad a cash.
Not too shabby, buddy.
We want to say hi to our friends out at Irwindale Speedway. Toyota Speedway of Irwindale. They have the big screen. Lucas Oil rented a big screen for tonight so all the short track fans at Irwindale can see our race and then run their NASCAR Whelen All-American Series race.
And I guarantee you they are screaming in Irwindale right now. Now, one thing that's interesting, I think we've got a lot of unknowns. These teams, they got, there's old Digger. You better get back in that hole, boy. They're going to be coming your way. But we only had one practice, and it was in the middle of the day. So I think we've got a lot of unknowns as we take this green flag here after 9 o'clock Eastern time.
Oh, we got a few unknowns, but we got some knowns, too, and that known is on the pole.
Yes, he
and we know he's going to let it all hang out.
The other known is it is full moon Saturday night. It's a little early to start talking about checkers or wreckers, but you know, there's a few cars going to leave here on the rollback.
Well, we got to see how these boys are going to play tonight. Are they going to play nice, or are they going to get rough with each other? Won't take long to determine that, I guarantee you.
Kyle Busch and Jeff Gordon on the front row as the pace truck begins to look for pit road.
Well, DW, it's All-Star night. We got $1 million to win. There's a full moon. As a tribute to all the short tracks all over the country, reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time.
Oh, this is what it's all about right here, boys and girls. Rough and tumble, short track racing on the super speedway. And here we go. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go All-Star Racing, boys. When you see that shot that Jeff Gordon got out of off 2 over there on the outside, man, that 2 cars fighting back on the inside.
Talking about shots, how about a shot out of a cannon, that 18 car, Kyle Busch?
That just didn't come as a big surprise to me.
The Busch brothers lead lap 1.
Boy, just think back to a year ago. I hope they don't end up meeting each other down in turn 1 again this year. You know, Larry, these races favor a guy that we kind of watched throughout the year that has a good short run car. And I believe that that's a Jeff Gordon car. We've seen that car be really fast for a few laps and then fall back, but that's all you need tonight. Here's a few laps. And here it comes, back on the inside.
Second place.
And the biggest thing about Jeff Gordon, he's a big money racer.
I sure do like that high line, though. Man, look at the run.
Turn 1, Denny Hamlin, is it? No, it's Hornish.
It's
Sam Wells in a 77.
No, it's a 77 this time. That's a shame. He
just got it with the right rear. Get it?
Maybe it'll just straighten that car out so it runs straight.
He's got a little to give over there.
There's a look on the bottom right. Following Montoya.
He got it pretty good, Larry.
With the right rear, then right front.
Yeah, he's got the whole right side pretty well bashed in on that baby.
Darrell, there were sparks flying from under that car before he got up and into the wall.
Yep.
And Greg Biffle in that 16 car, he's moved into the picture here. He's battling Kurt Busch that 2 for second place.
I just think you got to get up off that bottom if you want to make some moves, and that's what the 2 just did. And here comes Biffle working the inside, but that outside is fast.
Biffle takes the bottom shot off turn number 4 and takes second place. Steve.
Hey, Mike, talk about enthusiasm. Greg Biffle just told his crew, look out, boys, I'm coming. This thing is bad.
You know what? He's just picking up where he left off last Saturday night before he had trouble.
Junior back to the bottom, drawing a bead on Jeff Gordon.
Looks like Jeff 31 got into the wall.
Yep, up the middle of 3 and 4 there. He just got up into it pretty good, I believe, Larry. No, I don't. The side doesn't look bad. He didn't rub the Goodyear off the tire, so it wasn't too bad. That's kind of our gauge when we know how bad. Ooh, can't do it again now.
We're riding with Jimmy Johnson in his 48, talking about big movers. Started back in the 21st position. His qualifying time was disallowed because of pit penalties. He's already moved up to the 13th spot.
There's a look at Johnson and Jeff Gordon battling Ryan Newman. trying to move back up to 4th.
But just watch the 12 car prevail on the high side off turn 2.
Yeah, I just think Jeff's going to, if Jeff's going to be good tonight, he's going to have to get off the bottom. He's got to get up there on that outside and go.
Toyota, Ford, 2 Dodges, and 3 Chevrolets atop the leaderboard.
The best looking car I see running around the bottom is that one right there, the 16. Now, he seems to be able to make good time and get off the corner good off the bottom.
And he's about a half a tenth off with Kyle Busch. Once in a while, he can mirror the lap time of that 18 car.
This, if there is ever an event that is tailor-made for someone, this event is tailor-made for the 18 car and Kyle Busch. Drive as hard as you can go, catch your breath, and do it again.
Sam Hornish finally getting service on pit road. And
whoa,
Jeff Gordon, a big wobble.
Yeah,
he's got his hands full right now with that 24 car.
I just really had a gut feeling that Jeff was going to be really good tonight, but so far not so good, Dick.
Well, he may be really good. We're only on lap 10 at this point, but right now the car is way too loose, and that is all he has said about it, and he said it a couple of times, Darrell.
And I'm sure he said it just that way, too.
And you know what, Darrell? These guys may be getting caught off guard. They may have anticipated. We talked about that one practice in the heat of the day. They may have anticipated this track was going to free up, and it hadn't freed up like they thought it was going to.
This track really, it just gets faster. If your car was loose in practice, it's going to be loose tonight.
It looks like a walk in the park for Kyle Busch, but it can't be that easy, Matt.
A combo platter of small issues for Busch. He says when he goes into the corner and when the car does sit down in the bump stops, it's not quite right. The car pushes. Then when it finally does settle, he goes to get back in the gas. It is big time sideways on exit, but that's just typical for Busch. Just laying it out there, guarding the competition early on.
Yeah, I think when he's out front, he's bored. So he finds things with that race car.
I happen to believe, Larry, that he's just telling Steve Addington, here's what we need to work on so that we don't get caught off guard. Here's what my car's doing. I'm out here by myself. I got plenty of time to analyze.
Here comes Jamie McMurray, and alongside is Jimmy Johnson. As Johnson's on board, now looking back once again from McMurray over at the defending Sprint Cup champion and Carl Edwards. The 3 of them there are battling for 11.
And I believe what Jimmy Johnson in that 48 car is trying to do, he's trying to pick up and lay down as many cars as he can before we get to that caution at lap 25.
Another driver moving up is Tony Stewart. Remember, Stewart had to go to the back of the pack with that engine change. There's Big Orange. He's worked his way up to 16th after starting 24th.
And he's bringing that 9 car with him. Casey Kane, remember, got in on the fan vote. He started at the back of the field, just as Tony Stewart did.
Pretty good, 3 and 4.
I think when you look at the lap times, Larry, I mean, the 18 and the 16 are mirroring each other right now, but there's a 2-second gap in there that the 16's got to make up somehow. And I got to say, when you think about Kyle Busch and how he ran Darlington last weekend, that was a really great job on a very difficult racetrack. And I think I see every week that he's really learned to somewhat restrain himself. And tonight, I think he may just be running hard enough to stay out front.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 88 car, he's trying to run a bottom, continue to work on Ryan Newman. That's a battle for 4th, but Ryan Newman continues to win the battle off the corner on the high side.
Yeah, Junebug can get alongside of him or get right up to him, but when they exit the corner, that high line, that speed that you get up there onto the straightaway just makes all the difference.
That works.
Kyle Busch leads Greg Biffle by 2 seconds. Kurt Busch is another 3 seconds back than Ryan Newman, Dale Jr., Jeff Gordon, Martin Truex, and Bobby Labonte. In 8th spot, Matt Kenseth, Jimmy Johnson, the top 10. 8 laps to go before the first segment caution flag.
Right now, I just believe one reason that Kyle Busch is going to need to make his car better. I'm going to have to go back to him again as we're watching Martin Truex Jr. in the 1, Bobby Labonte in the 43, that's 7th and 8th.
I just believe the car that they're going to have to contend with before this night's out is that 48 car of Jimmy Johnson. He has now cracked the top 10.
I look at lap times, though, and there's only 2 cars that are running the same speed. And again, that's the 18 and the 16. If the 16 was up there with 18 right now, he could race him. But he can't close the gap because they're on the same speed. But the flagman will fix that here very shortly.
Side by side for 7th. Truex holds the spot. Labonte wants it, and here comes Matt Kenseth into the fray.
While these guys are racing side by side, it's absolutely bringing that 7 and that 48 car up to their rear bumper. Yeah, we'll get the caution here in about 6 laps, and there's Casey Kane in the 9, continues to march forward as he's battling McMurray, and that's for 14th spot.
Here's a great battle here between the 43 and the 1. 43 cars running pretty good tonight.
7th and 8th on the left of your screen, and on the right 14th and 15th. Kyle Busch on his way, as he did last year, to leading at the end of segment 1. His lead holding at 2 seconds, not increasing, not decreasing.
I mean, the last 4 laps, Darrell and I were just looking, they are mirroring each other's times out to the 100th of a second.
Identical. And don't you know Greg Biffle, he looks in his mirror and he says, you know, if it wasn't for that 18 car, I'd be on a cakewalk right now. Because they have just separated themselves from everyone else.
Now, Kyle Busch has already banked $50,000. 25 for Kyle, 25 for his pit crew for winning the pole here last night.
We'll get the caution now in 4 laps. We're riding with Jimmy Johnson, still riding in the 10th. But right now he's looking up there at 7th, 8th, and 9th. He'd love to get those cars before we get that caution.
A few drivers that can't wait to see it. Dale Jarrett, Juan Montoya, Clint Boyer, Jeff Burton. In fact, all of the Richard Childress cars can use a tune-up. The best of them is Harvick in 17th.
You know, when I look up there, though, out there at that yellow and blue car, so far, this is actually a great run for Bobby Labonte in that 43 car. Had a good qualifying run, tue.
Really is. I watched him. He's right up. He's going to catch Jeff Gordon here for 5th place. 6th place, actually. But we're going to run out of time. But that car looks good tonight. I think what the 99 and the 48 are going to be, they get to this break, those 2 cars will be 2 cars that are going to get up there and challenge these other, the 16 and the 18 in the next 25 laps.
Again, Biffle and Busch run laps within 3/100ths of a second of each other. You're with Carl Edwards in 12th place. And here's Jimmy Johnson trying Kenseth for 9th. Not this time.
They just, these 2 cars, the 48 and the 99, are using this first 25 laps to overcome bad qualifying efforts because they both were disastrous.
We'll complete 25 laps next time by. Let the field cycle through the scoring line, and then we'll see the first of the segment caution flags.
Pretty much Kyle Busch's lead, it has just stayed at about 2 seconds for about the last 10 or 12 laps.
And that car has been so consistent. There we are. 25
First and
laps.
second, and a long way back to 3rd. It's 4 seconds back to Kurt Busch, the 3rd place car. Here he comes.
Just to remember what will happen, we have that double file restart. That'll put Greg Biffle on the outside as the caution will wave to signify the end of the first segment.
The good thing about these segments is you can take another stab at it. Go the wrong way, next time you'll fix it, go the other way.
You get a couple more shots.
That's right.
Kyle Busch, Greg Biffle, Kurt Busch, Ryan Newman, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. the running order after segment 1. Speed's coverage of the NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race is presented by Sprint. For more Sprint Cup Series information, go to sprint.com/speed. Speed is beautiful. By Garmin, follow the leader. By Toyota, moving forward. And by Advance Auto Parts, keep the wheels turning. Drivers that started in the back and made good gains in segment 1, Jimmy Johnson, Carl Edwards, and Tony Stewart. Pit road is open. Dick Berggren and our crew await them.
And Jeff Gordon will be coming down pit road. He's going to take 4 tires, Mike, and they're going to put a lot of static weight in that left rear. The car has been very loose all night long. It got a little better, but not much. They got a lot of work to do to make this a winning car. Steve Burns.
Well, Dick, Greg Biffle said to his crew chief, Greg Irwin, if you make me just a little bit freer, I can catch that 18. They're going to make a small wedge adjustment and some air pressure. Matt?
An easy entry into the pit box for the 18 of Busch. They were talking about going a 2-tire change. That's what they go with. Meanwhile, the 2 of Kurt Busch, they were talking about an air pressure adjustment, just trying to tweak the balance of the Blue Deuce.
I think we had several cars that went after 2 tires. Looks like Bobby Labonte in that 43. Now remember, this is just like a caution coming out at lap 25. You have the race off pit road, and you had the option of what you could do.
Matt Kenseth took on 2 tires as well. And we'll check up and down pit road and see who else gambled.
Pretty much 2 tires all across the board there.
A long stop for Dale Jarrett, and off he goes back into the fray. We'll be back to Lowe's Motor Speedway after this. To your left, the dirt track at Lowe's Motor Speedway, and then the Speedway itself, where tonight's aerial coverage is brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. Keep the wheels turning.
Back over there behind that dirt track is a new drag strip that's going to open up here in the fall too. That thing's impressive.
This is going to be quite a center of speed when Bruton Smith, Humpy Wheeler, and their folks are done here in Concord, North Carolina, getting set for the restart after the first 25 lap segment. Kyle Busch, Greg Biffle, Kurt Busch, Ryan Newman, Dale Jr.
Yeah, I think the only way you're going to do anything with that 18 is you got to beat him on the start here. And man, the way he shot out of the cannon on that first start, I don't know if anybody's got anything with this kid at all tonight.
It appears that about the top 6 cars decided to go with 2 tires. I think one reason they wanted to do it, Darrell, they want to know for that last stop when they have to come to pit road before those final 25 laps. Good time to find out now.
Now, after this segment, there'll be the 10-minute halftime where adjustments are permitted on the pit stop. They will not race off pit road. They'll line them up the way they finished segment 2.
Let's watch this restart, because sometime, man, it can be really treacherous here with this flat front straightaway and the wheel spin. But that 18, adios.
Segment 2.
I don't know if he spun the tires or not, but he looked like John Force right there.
Look at those 2 Penske cars on the high side. Ryan Newman in the 12, Kurt Busch in the 2. I know it's early, but this is about the best Kurt Busch has looked since he finished 2nd in the Daytona 500.
Jeff Burton had to go to the back too fast entering the pits, and a tire violation on Dale Jarrett's
Here
stop.
comes some competition. Watch out. Here comes the 99. And we know how good he is on a 1.5 miles.
And we know how good he was in practice yesterday. Just had several problems on that pit stop qualifying.
And we knew how confident he was on the pace laps when Darrell spoke with him.
Yeah, it didn't bother him at all. He was starting way back there. He said he had a good car. Don't worry.
Tony Stewart keeps coming to the front, now battling Casey Kane. Mid-pack, but remember, Stewart started this race out back in 24th.
I just believe that 18 car is setting up there with a little reserve. You get close to me, I might mash it wide open.
Didn't take him long to open up 1.4 seconds on Carl Edwards and the rest of this field.
He's $1 million baby right now, I can tell you that 18 car is. This is like, right now with that 18 car, it's like practice, Larry. He hadn't seen anybody all night.
You know, we were talking about Kurt Busch in that 2 car. He continues to slide backwards. It looks like he's paying the price for going with just 2 right side tires. I'm getting a report the car will not turn at all, which is the product sometime of just putting fresh right side tires on.
Yeah, if your car's a little loose, that might not have been a bad move, but if you need that grip, should have taken 4, obviously.
Stewart on the high side of Martin Truex, trying to move up into 12th, and does.
Right now, the 18 car is about 1/10 and a half quicker than Carl in 2nd place.
Now here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr. He goes below Ryan Newman in the 12. Dale Earnhardt Jr. He has 4 fresh tires now.
There you go.
He is hugging that white line.
Yeah, he's been there all night. He has not moved up off the bottom.
He'll slide up in front of Newman. He'll take 3rd away.
There you go, man. Good job.
Bobby Labonte, Jimmy Johnson. This is for 9th.
Yeah, Jimmy gave up so much when he took 4 tires, and he didn't have the luxury of being up near the front, so he lost, came back out of the pit about where he was, where other guys with 2 got way ahead of him.
Bonnie got that good run on the high side off turn 2. Now I think Jimmy Johnson will probably prevail, but here comes Labonte fighting back. Looks like the 48 may be able to slide up in front of him off turn 4.
Well, that's the 48 car. You're not going to catch him up off the bottom. He's won this race too many times hugging that white line.
And he finished 2nd last year to Harvick.
Jeff Gordon dropping back. He's fallen into the clutches of Casey Kane, Tony Stewart, and Kevin Harvick.
I was concerned about the 24 car at Lowe's Motor Speedway just simply because of the way they've run at the mile-and-a-half tracks. But I felt like for these sprint races that he would be pretty good. But he's definitely, they've got a lot of work to do during that 10-minute break.
Well, we've seen them fix him up in a couple of races this year, but I don't think I'll have time tonight.
Mentioned Kurt Busch in that 2 car. I guarantee you they won't change two tires no more tonight as Jimmy Johnson in the 48. He'll take the 8th spot away from the 2.
On the left, the battle for 13th. Stewart and Harvick.
Uh-oh.
Harvick shoots past.
Very interesting. Something happened to the 20, you reckon? He had just gotten around Harvick. They had a little engine issue with that car in practice. They'd put a new one in it, but that almost had like he had something happen to it. He went by so quickly. Meanwhile, back at the ranch.
Now, Matt Kenseth had passed Ryan Newman for 4th, gives it back.
Meanwhile, Greg Biffle, who finished 2nd at the end of that first segment, they decided Greg Irwin to go with 4 tires. This is pretty much 4 tires on the 16 versus 2 each on those other 2 cars.
Boy, and the Biff was so good in that first segment, and now here he is marred back in the field.
Harvick keeps moving forward. He takes 12th from Gordon.
These 2 here, Ryan Newman in the 12, Matt Kenseth in the 17. This battle will not go away for 4.
Matt likes the bottom, Ryan likes the top.
And Biffle loves them running side by side because he's catching them.
Yeah, company's coming, not just Biffle. There's the 16 into the picture, but Mark Martin as well.
I might have been mishearing something.
What's that?
It's probably just my imagination, but I swear I thought that 18 sounded flat going by that time.
He ran about the same speed as Carl Edwards in the 99.
I'm not sure. Let me check him again. Car sounded a little. No, that thing is flat. It's got something going wrong with it. It didn't sound good, and I think there's something going
the
wrong.
Stopwatch reflects it.
Yep, something's going on with the 18.
Steve is in the leader's pit.
Well, Mike, actually, Carl Edwards just radioed to his crew and Bob Osborne. He could hear the engine problem on the 18.
Oh yeah,
well, there's no question, Steve.
He could hear it, and I could hear it when it went by, and I thought I was imagining things. I couldn't believe a car that good would have trouble, but he's got trouble.
Well, Carl gained a half second on him last lap, and here comes Carl Edwards.
We're trying to get it.
About to give Kyle Busch the goodbye look.
Think back to practice. Tony Stewart complained when he had an engine problem. I think you melted a plug wire. So I don't know if that's what could be wrong with the 18 or not, but.
Well, that's what Stewart thought.
That's what he thought.
But they pulled in and took valve covers off it. A bigger problem.
Well, he's about to lose the lead to the 99 car, but what they want to do, they want to try to get through the next 11 laps, stay on the lead lap. Remember, we get a 10-minute break. They can analyze and diagnose the problem.
Lead change. Carl Edwards becomes the 2nd driver to lead tonight.
Tell you what, I'm putting my money on the 88 now because he is really closed up on Carl. That lap by gained 3/10 on Carl.
And remember, he has those 4 fresh tires. Carl Edwards' left side tires now, they have 40 laps on them.
But I see what it takes to keep up with that 18 car now. Lose a cylinder, and you can keep up with him.
11 laps, make that 10 laps now to the halftime break.
At that time, Carl Edwards beat Dale Earnhardt Jr. by about 3/10.
Watch this race through the corner, though. The yellow car on the bottom, down the cylinder, the car on the outside running on all 8, and that 18 car beats him through the corner.
And I'll guarantee you, probably Darrell, he's running wide open around here now because he's down on power.
Loses speed, loses time on the straightaway because he just can't keep the thing won't run down the straightaway, but he gains it all back in the corner.
Junior 0.4 of a second quicker than Kyle Busch that time, makes the pass for second. Busch slips to third, and Matt Kenseth closing in. Halftime couldn't come at a better time for Kyle Busch.
It's going to be perfect for the 18 car. Whether it's a plug wire, a rocker arm, whatever it is, they'll have time to fix it.
We do need to make note, though, once again, Carl Edwards in that 99 car, he had the aid of a caution to help catch up, but he started this race back in the 19th position, and here he's leading.
Yeah, and Junior's a 10th off that lap on the Carl, so Carl's got a comfortable lead, about 3 seconds here almost, over Junior. 2.5 seconds.
This is riding with Kyle Busch in the 18 car. You're going to see Matt Kenseth just take that spot away from him. That moves Matt up to the 3rd spot.
7 laps to go. Busch's mission now, stay on the lead lap. And it is Carl Edwards who is driving away. He was 0.2 quicker than Dale Jr. last lap.
Yes, you can fix it.
That was Kyle Busch asking the crew, can we fix the problem? Absolutely. You can work on it.
You can see way down on straightaway speed, about 182 miles an hour, where they were right close to 190. I don't see the thing smoking, so that just tells me it could very easily be a plug wire.
Well, now what the 20 car actually broke, they decided to change the engine. They broke a rocker arm. You know, a rocker arm can be changed in 10 minutes.
They can fish that baby out there and put a new one on. He's good to go.
And it's worth the gamble.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he just told
it'll make it. 5 more laps.
He just told him he didn't think it'd make it, and he's slowing down more and more all the time.
Right now, our leader's running 30-60s, 30-50s. Kyle Busch is running 31-20s.
Blowing up.
But Larry, still, there's 4 cars on track running slower lap times than Kyle Busch. All he's got to do is stay on the lead lap now.
Exactly. You know what? Go for it. You just keep digging, and you can see them right now. The crew guys, they're getting prepared to analyze, diagnose this problem in their mind. They know the 20 car broke that rocker arm.
Yeah, they've got a clue. Two things. They got a rocker arm problem or a plug wire.
Carl Edwards continues to pull away from Dale Jr. So this race has only had 2 leaders, and they have each spanked the field as we watch the race for 10th.
Talking about people hunting that caution flag, besides Kyle Busch, I think his brother Kurt Busch that too is hunting it, because he definitely, there's no tires left on that car.
And you know what, Larry, this is shaping up just like every 1.5 miles we've been to this year. You got a Roush car leading, you got a Roush car running 3rd, and you got a Roush car running 6th. 3 cars in the top 6 Roush cars on a 1.5 mile racetrack.
Right now you got a Gibbs car frustrated because he appears to be quicker than the 2 cars in front of him. Couldn't find any racing room.
Look at the difference in corner speed. It just shows you that you got to have the straightaway speed, but man, he can hold them off just getting through the corner the way he does.
And it's a battle between Greg Biffle in the 16, Kyle Busch in the 18. That's a battle for 5th. On the right, you are watching the battle for 10th.
And I'm blown away by how the 48 and the 24 are running tonight. I thought those guys would come over here loaded for bear. That's a great run right here by Bobby Labonte's having a good night, guys.
And we need to mention while we're watching this battle, Casey Kane, through the fan vote, started dead last. He has now cracked the top 10. He's up in the 9th spot with this 9 car.
1 lap to go, and we'll go to halftime. Kyle Busch hanging on in 6th. And Casey Kane takes that away.
Actually, yeah, if he can pass Mark Martin in that 8 car, that will actually move him up into the 7th spot.
I don't think they can get Kyle, because Kyle's going to beat him so badly through the corner. He just opens up a huge gap through the corner. Coming to the flag.
Halfway, Carl Edwards the leader over Dale Earnhardt Jr. by 3.6 seconds. And Kyle Busch hangs on for 6th behind Kenseth, Newman, and Biffle. The plot thickens.
Full moon.
We are at halftime in Speed's presentation of the NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race, presented by Sprint. For more Sprint Cup Series information, go to sprint.com/speed. Speed is beautiful. And brought to you by Bank of America, the official bank of NASCAR. And by Husqvarna. To find your Husqvarna Total Source dealer, visit masteryourgreatoutdoors.com. This will be the halftime break. Roughly 10 minutes. The teams will have the opportunity to make adjustments. And Carl Edwards, after taking the lead from Kyle Busch, took off and spanked the field. But we're only at halftime.
And Darrell, you mentioned it, a little surprised that the 24 and the 48's not running as good as they normally do here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. Again, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is carrying that Hendrick banner.
Yes, he is. Got a great car tonight.
Dick Berggren.
Well, Jeff Gordon has got a bunch of problems with car number 24, Mike. The wedge adjustment that they did on the last pit stop definitely helped it in the middle of the corner, but he still is very, very loose coming off. So they're going to pull a spring, actually 2 spring rubbers out of the right rear. Major changes in car 24 to try to get it to handle. Steve.
Well, Dick, Carl Edwards comes to a stop and they change 4 tires. He just shuts off the motor. Very small, if any, changes to the 99, Matt.
Now, Kurt Butterfield, the engine tuner for Kyle Busch, is looking at the motor on the left side. Roger Purcell, the engine tuner for Denny Hamlin, he will work on the right side of the motor. They're going to try to diagnose what the issue is for the 18. In testing, his teammate Tony Stewart had burned a plug wire. They were hoping that's what the problem was for Busch. Right now, they've got flashlights. Peter Jellin is involved in there. They're going to try to diagnose this issue to try to get this car, which was dominating so far tonight, back up to full song.
You know, Matt, I can see the valve covers coming off, so they think they got a rocker arm problem, apparently.
It's Jimmy Makar in the light blue shirt, who oversees this end of the operation for Joe Gibbs Racing.
Really the first employee of Joe Gibbs Racing back in 1992.
You know, Carl Edwards leading at halftime. This is the first time he's ever won a segment or led a segment at the end of a segment in the All-Star race. Let's check with Dick.
Well, Matt Kenseth's car is on pit road, Mike. He's one of the guys that just took 2 tires on that last round of pit stops, and guess what? Instead of dropping back, he picked up cars. This thing is absolutely running well, but he's still looking for more grip. The car is loose going into the corner, a little bit free on exit, a little bit tight in the middle, and they're going to make some adjustments to try to fix that, but this 17 car could well be a contender at the end of the night. Steve.
Dick, Carl Edwards just out of the race car, and you've made a nice transition from pit reporter to race car driver. But I heard you tell Bob that car was just a little bit loose. Man, you guys are fast right now, Carl.
Yeah, I guess I'm just going to have to deal with it because it's pretty good. This Office Depot Fusion is great. Man, I hate to see Kyle blow an engine. I wanted to beat him head-to-head here tonight, and you know, he was doing a great job. I hate to see them lose an engine, but this Ford's running really well. I'm glad to be in it, and I don't know what's going to happen the next 50 laps.
Any adjustments to the car at all, Carl?
No, we're just going to, I guess, put some tires on it and hope that it keeps going as fast as it is. We got to start on the inside, which I think is going to be a little bit iffy here on this restart. But we got 50 laps, learned a lot those last 50, and I don't know. Hopefully it's good. You know, Janice said yes to Phillip, and the world's right now.
All's good. Thanks, Carl.
Thank you.
Every Wednesday before the All-Star race, track president Humpy Wheeler picks the winner. He's been right 10 of the last 17 years. And who did he pick this Wednesday? Carl Edwards. Toyota Pace Truck leads them around as you look from our aerial coverage brought to you by Advance Auto Parts. Keep the wheels turning. We're ready for segment 3. They will restart the same way they finished segment 2. 25 laps, caution laps count. There will be a mandatory pit stop, and you'll start the final segment in the order you leave pit road after that pit stop.
But that mandatory pit stop, you have options. You can do a stop and go, which I don't think anyone will do. But now what's going to be interesting based on that first caution, what will guys do, 2 or 4?
Looked like Carl Edwards really liked 2.
You got to have a good handling car to do that.
Looked like that worked for him.
Carl Edwards, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Matt Kenseth, Ryan Newman, Greg Biffle, Mark Martin, Casey Kane, Jimmy Johnson, Kurt Busch, Tony Stewart, the top 10. Here we go.
Junior just is not going. Now he finally gets a push from Ryan Newman, but Junior was really slow getting going, but Ryan Newman assisted him considerably.
But I think that right there shows how strong that 99 car is. But boy, Junior did get a run off turn 2. Carl just slid right up in front of him going down the back straight.
Yeah, and Matt Kenseth had a run, but he had to get out of the gas just a little wee bit, and that let Ryan go.
That 88 car is eating that white line up, and these people, everybody's standing on their feet. Junior's going to lead that lap.
The Gray Ghost to the lead. Looks like they found that happy medium, Larry, at least in this first lap.
And it looked like Jimmy Johnson got into the wall between 1 and 2.
Yeah, he kissed it ever so slightly.
Impolitely.
We pretty much know what we've watched so far. If Carl Edwards is going to get back by that 88 car, he'll have to do it on the high side.
I think he's got bigger
problems. But here comes Kenseth to the inside of Carl Edwards.
Right now, Carl's biggest competition is his 2 teammates, the 17 and the 16. I mean, they are on it.
You know, it's hard to tell if Jimmy Johnson got the wall. The sides of his tires still look yellow, but is that the Goodyear letters? No, the paint off the wall.
If there's letters still on the tires, he didn't get it. He just got real close.
Tell you, old Mark Martin, the 8 car, he's looking mighty racy. He goes by Ryan Newman in the 12. He's wanting some of that 99 car.
Larry, that little intermission made a big difference, didn't it? It changed the whole complexion of this race.
Always does. Ryan Newman in the 12, he's pretty much been working the top side of the racetrack all night long.
And you know, Carl said they were not going to do anything to his car. Sometimes that's the biggest mistake you can make. You got to anticipate everybody else is going to get better, and you better get better with them.
Newman goes to the bottom. Or rather, Newman being chased from the bottom by Edwards, who now has to deal with Mark Martin.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, up at second place, the Roush-Keteers are going at it.
Well, and remember, in that first segment, the second best race car was that 16 car. He took those 4 tires. He couldn't get back there. The best race car from the first segment is in the garage area now, Kyle Busch.
I tell you, that 17 car sure does look strong, though, Larry. Man, is he coming off of the corner. That's where these COTs really shine, is the acceleration they have out of the hole.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. won the Budweiser shootout at Daytona and won his Gatorade qualifying race. Those are non-point races. This is the 3rd one of the year. Only one other driver has won all 3 of those non-point events in the same year. Dale Jr.'s dad.
You know, I said he'd win 6 races this year, and I told a friend of mine he's already won 2, and he said they don't count. This one will count. It's $1 million
count for
counter.
$1 million.
That's right.
You bet.
Now, what Greg Biffle did that time is he drove that thing down in the middle of the corner. The car just washed up the racetrack a little bit. He lost some ground to Kenseth coming off 4.
You can see he's starting to search around, Larry. Now he's going to go high, and that's really going to pay off as he accelerates out of the turn 2 over there down the back. These are fire breathers, aren't they? Fire breathing dragons.
That's why the nighttime is the right time for this race. Let the rough side drag. Let those pipes belch flame. Let's see it. Let's enjoy it all.
We see sparks and we see glowing rotors and we see fire out the tailpipes. You don't get that in the daytime.
We just saw Tony Stewart in that 20 car. His car walked up the racetrack. Car got real loose with it. Now we're riding with Mark Martin in his Army car. He continues to work on Ryan Newman in the 12 for 4th.
I tell you something, Larry. The 17 is eating the 88 up. 88's just falling off a little bit that lap.
Boy, that was 0.4 of a second that lap.
There's something going on with the 88, Larry. He doesn't look quite as good hanging on the bottom like he did earlier.
And look at the run Kenseth got that time. He's going to go to the inside now. And we know Kenseth's car has been pretty good on the bottom. Junior's car, it has not been good on the top side.
But that top side pays off, baby. You get her up there and hang her.
Matt Kenseth trying to become the 4th different leader tonight at the line. Not that
quite.
time.
Not this time, but maybe next. This is a tough corner to get down into underneath somebody. Turn 1, you got a little bit of a bump getting down in there. Upsets the car sometimes, gets you loose, but Dale Jr. prevails off turn 2 down the back.
When you look at these two guys battled for championships in the Nationwide Series for 2 years and battled to the wire for the 2000 Winston Cup Rookie of the Year.
10 laps down, 15 to go in this third quarter of the NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race.
And you know, one of the things that these guys say about these cars is just how difficult it is to make a pass. You can catch people, you can get up on the back bumper, but it's really, really hard to get by somebody.
Now, Darrell, I saw something that time out of the 88 car we've not seen. He was all the way against the wall in turn 1 and 2.
He had to move up, Larry, because he was losing so much time on the bottom. He really had slowed his car down to stay down there. Now he sees the advantage of being high.
Yeah, he's got that high line momentum now.
And he's usually pretty good about getting up there and rubbing the wall. What do you see, Larry?
His lap times have reflected. He had fallen off to the 20s and 30s. That lap was a 30.08 faster than anybody.
Yeah, but he got too high, Larry. He got up there in the loose stuff almost off 2 that time. Open the door for Kenseth one more time. And look at Biffle slipping up on the outside. Now he goes to the bottom.
Biffle almost went below the white line that time.
Easy, buddy, easy.
Almost got into
That's
his
your
teammate.
Yeah.
All right, here, still clear by 5.
Yeah. Talk to him, Spotter.
Right there.
That was Dale Earnhardt Jr., I think, talking about getting loose the last time off turn 2.
Yeah, he got real loose, and they closed up on him, but now he's got it back under him and going again.
There you go.
There you go. Work it, baby, work it.
Biffle knows if he can get by Kenseth, he can get up there maybe and race that 88 car. He may be able to do it when they get down to turn 1 and 2, Darrell.
I believe he can, because he's got a good enough car. He can drive in there beside Kenseth. Matter of fact, he's going to get the position on him, and he's going to make the pass. Nice job, and here he comes. He's the guy to beat now.
He'll slide up in front of Kenseth now and set his sights on Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And give an attaboy to Kenseth because he gave Biffle all the room in the world down that front straightaway and into 1.
Boy, did Biffle pack it down into turn 3 that time.
And you know, you got a feel for Biffle. Had the car to beat last week at Darlington, driving away from the field.
Still plenty of time. 3 to match. Nice and easy.
And tonight might be the night.
Greg Biffle goes to the lead.
Man, and he made that look almost Kyle Busch easy.
Good day.
Now, next time to the stripe, they'll be 10 to go.
Good day. Goodbye.
Well, every time we've had a lead change, the new leader has walked away from the field. Let's see what Biffle can do.
Pretty good right there, Irwin.
Yeah, no kidding.
Pretty good right there, Irwin.
You're on it, Biff.
Yeah, he just ran a 30.08.
30.0.
Attaboy. Give him times. That'll pump him up.
Closest thing to him is a 30.40 right now.
I'm so happy to see Biffle running good, because you know how long, when he got on the scene, man, we thought this cat was going to win all the races. And in 2005, almost won the championship. I think really what set him back last year, Larry, was some of those early season crashes he had.
Darrell, you talked about it a while ago. That halftime has just sent that 99 car walking backwards. He just lost the 6th position to Kurt Busch in the 2.
And the sad thing is, Larry, he's not even running lap times close to what he did in that 2nd segment. So they've got to do something.
And Darrell, you know this racetrack, it changes when you go to nighttime. We're hearing that it's getting very cool. You know, it's probably getting actually just some moisture in there, which will change this racetrack.
Yeah, I think the dew point goes up and it makes the track a little slicker.
Kurt Busch trying to hold back Carl Edwards and Casey Kane. Busch in 6th. This race for 7th.
Remember, Casey Kane had to start this race at the rear of the field, got in on the fan vote. He did not race his way in through the showdown.
Eight laps to the end of the 3rd quarter. Dale Jr., Matt Kenseth scrapped for 2nd, as Greg Biffle has a 2-second lead.
Yeah, Greg Biffle right now, he's in his own zip code.
Yep.
He looks like Kyle Busch did in that 1st segment.
And he's running the same times Kyle did. Kyle was 30.0s, 30.20s, and that's where Biffle is right now. We know from that 1st segment that Biffle had a car equal to Busch's.
And he looks just like Carl Edwards did in segment 2.
You got to beat Greg Biffle.
You're too loose. Just a tiny bit.
Man, that's Greg telling Greg Irwin that he's a tiny bit loose, but man, I'd be afraid to do a whole lot to that rocket.
But Darrell, we're going to get that caution here in about 6 laps.
We got you, buddy. I don't see anything on it. Just watch your temperatures. Doing
How
good,
about
buddy.
Sam Hornish?
Where is he?
5 away from the
He's
stop.
got the recovery of the night,
Yes,
Darrell.
sir.
He was 3 laps back, and he just passed Casey Mears to move into the top 15 as we watch the second place battle.
Looks like Junebug's car falls off, you know, in the course of a long run here. 25 laps, not a long run, but it is tonight.
5 laps to go to the end of the 3rd quarter.
While these guys are racing side by side, Ryan Newman in that 12 car, he has cleared Mark Martin. Says, you guys keep going side by side. I'll come up there and join you. Battle for second on the right-hand side of the screen. Battle for fourth on the left-hand.
I think what these two guys battling for second, you got to think about this, the restart. Who's going to be on what, inside, outside? I think that's the battle right here.
Boy, Junior walked way up the racetrack that time, right smack dab in the middle of 1 and 2. I think that'll let Kenseth prevail by the time they get down to 3 and 4.
So that's going to put Kenseth, if he can make the pass, starting alongside of Greg Biffle on the outside. That could be a real plus in this last 25 laps.
He just can't quite clear him, and Junior slides back in front of him.
Ready to go.
That shot's off at 2. Looks like Junior's got a little issue off at 2.
3 more laps to the end of the 3rd quarter. And behind those two fighting for second, look at how things have closed up. Newman, Martin, Kurt Busch, and Kane closing in.
And you know, talking about closing in, Casey Kane, we talked about him a moment ago. He's right there on the heels of getting 2 or 3 more positions before this caution comes out here in a couple of laps.
Well, he owned this joint 2 years ago. Won both races over here. About time he made a comeback.
Pulls to the inside of Kurt Busch in the 2 car. That will be a battle for 6th.
Looks like Dale Jr. is going to be able to hold off as we watch this battle for 6 here. Looks like he's going to be able to hold Kenseth off. Maybe.
Boy, Kenseth got the run that time.
June got the thing way out of shape, but he's still hanging on to her.
It's almost like it's going to come down to that last lap. Who can beat who back to the start-finish line off turn 4? Junior got through 1 and 2 good that time.
Yeah, every now and then he'll have a problem there, but when he doesn't, he gets through there well, and I mean, he pulls away.
Clear by 4.
This is the last lap of the 3rd quarter. And Greg Biffle's going to lead the 3rd quarter by 4 seconds.
Keep digging there. Still clear by 3. I'll tell you when the yellow comes out.
Junior in front of Kenseth for 2nd. Newman 4th. Martin 5th.
This is where things are about to get interesting. You're taking a look at what we've seen in the Sprint All-Star race so far this evening. Jeff Hammond, we just saw a wide variety of pit strategy. What is going to happen in segment 4?
Well, the main thing is right now, Greg Biffle's been strong all night long, but whether or not he can hold on, this is going to be the question. A lot of different strategies. We saw one of the best cars in '88 took 4, but he's way back in the back in the field. Right now, the king of Lowe is up there on the front row. That's Jimmy Johnson, but he's got 0 tires. In my opinion, I think he's going to have a hard night trying to be a repeat winner here. It could be Greg Biffle's race to win, in my opinion.
So you think 2 tires are the ticket?
I like it so far. I think he's got just what he needs, and I don't think Jimmy was fast enough by not taking any tires at all, unless he's got some magic or basically a rabbit in his hat.
Well, you sound excited. We've had 3 segments, 3 different winners. Let's go upstairs for the final segment, number 4.
Thanks, Krista. We've talked all night about perhaps checkers or wreckers, but this race has been caution-free. And we are 25 laps from someone winning $1 million.
Okay, but this is like every event you ever go to, this kind of event, it's all building up, and it's all going to start happening now. You got too much, you got 2 cars on the front that took no tires. They're going to be like a roadblock sitting up there.
The Advanced Auto Parts World of Outlaws returns to that dirt track right alongside Lowe's Motor Speedway, and you'll see it live here on Speed Channel next Friday. The Rite Aid Outlaw Showdown. Coverage begins Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, only on Speed, and reserve seats just $25. Kids tickets $10. Here we go, 25 laps to settle it all.
Yeah, go wake up Jesse. It's getting ready to get big right here.
Jimmy Johnson, the 48, Denny Hamlin, the 11, Casey Kane in the 9. They're on the same tires that they started that last segment. All they did was a stop and go, little splash of fuel.
Ooh, car in the middle. Matt Kenseth slipping back.
Man, he really had a problem getting into one. Let's see what happens here for the lead. Got the 11 looking down low. He's under the 48. Fighting back on the outside. That's getting tight.
Who will be the 5th leader of this race? Denny Hamlin.
But I tell you what, that 9 car, Casey Kane, remember he started dead last when this race started through virtue of the fan vote. But there comes Greg Biffle in the 16 car. That group took 2 tires.
Oh, I believe as soon as Biffle's tires kind of equal up a little bit, new lefts or new rights, old left, he will motor on by.
You won't believe who else is coming in that lead pack. Remember Sam Hornish was 3 laps down? He's 9th and moving on the outside.
I tell you, and he's had a bad fast car all night long.
He was way on the outside that time.
He's got some right rear to give, though, guys. That thing goes through the corner with it. Look at it hung out going down in there.
There comes Biffle, though, in the 16 car, has those 2 fresh right side tires. He's going to take the 3rd spot away from Kane, going after that 48 now.
Yeah, he would just continue to ease this inch up. It's just not, you're not going to get them all at once. You just got to keep inching up. He was too good compared to the guys that's in front of him.
Jimmy Johnson fighting back on the bottom. Denny Hamlin got high at 3 and 4. Side by side, I have no idea who led that lap.
Scoring says Johnson by 1,000th of a second.
Oh, well, it's a long way to the end.
4 cars under a blanket for the lead.
That 9 will not quit fighting on the high side, though. He's going to pull up to the back of the 11 car.
And here's Biffle right with him.
But this is just like I said, Larry, it's like a roadblock right now. You got 3 cars up there, 2 that's got they got the same tires as run the last segment on.
Boy,
Jimmy
Johnson got loose that time.
He saved it. Come on, buddy, hang on to her.
And Biffle pedaled it, which was the smart thing to do, but it puts Ryan Newman right alongside Biffle.
And here comes Kenseth fighting back after that bad restart.
But look at that run Newman got on the high side. He's been working it all night long. He's going to get the spot away from Biffle. Biffle will fight back on the bottom, though.
Newman, the blue number 12, up high.
Watch this 48 car, Larry. Come off that corner. Gets all jammed up. Does a hospital hop, but saves it.
And that's a little bit of the product of this car. When you're on the inside of a car, it'll suck you over to him.
Johnson backing up now. The 2 leaders getting away just a bit. Hamlin and Kane. Newman, Biffle, Kenseth, and Martin ready to pounce.
You know, the way that the 18 car was running, I thought to myself, why is the 11 and the 20 not running any better than they are? But look, here's the 11 up here fighting off for the lead right now.
And I'm telling you, he's having a fight because Kane got a great run in that 9 car through 3 and 4. Let's see what happens down in 1 and 2. Denny Hamlin is rim riding right now in that 11 car, which is not a bad place to be, especially on older tires.
I think, though, I think what will happen, Larry, I believe that 16 car, when his right sides catch up with his left sides, he's going to be okay.
Well, Gillette Evernham had 2 cars wrecked in the sprint showdown. Carpentier and Elliott Sadler. Here's his other car trying to win it.
See, these guys right now are running lap times. The guys that are up front right here, the 11 and the 9, those are good at times. It's been run all night here.
Wouldn't it be something if the fan vote car went to victory lane?
Boy, I'm telling you, that 11 car, it doesn't matter what kind of run he gets off turn 2, he goes down that back straightaway. Kane just can't get enough room to slide up in front of him on the exit of 2 or 4.
Trying to figure out if Biffle has got anything for these guys or not. I thought he would catch them once he got in clean air like he is now.
We're done.
Uh-oh, we're done. It's not good.
Mike, he keyed the mic and said, we are blowing up. The thing is blowing up. I believe we are done. Remember now, the 20 team had an issue, the 18, now the 11.
Well, the 20 had his problem in practice.
Exactly. But this weekend, they've all had issues, D.
Yep, you're right.
All 3 Joe Gibbs Toyotas in trouble.
Well, right now, though, Casey Kane, he's leading this thing. They come back to the stripe. 15 laps to go. Greg Biffle there right behind him in that 16.
Biffle's faster, Larry, by a good bit. Now that the tires have equaled up, he's a good bit faster than Kane. I believe he'll catch
15 to go. 15.
plenty of time.
Yeah, that time Biffle beat him by about a half a tenth. 15 to go.
And nobody else coming. Jimmy Johnson holding his own in third. Matt Kenseth, Ryan Newman now unable to gain. And then a 4-pack behind them. Mark Martin, Carl Edwards, Tony Stewart, Dale Jr. And a big gap back to Hornish right here.
Here's my hero right here. This cat came, the 77 car, came from 2 laps down, hit the wall, had to make an unscheduled stop, fought his way back fighting. He's running 10th right now.
Battling Kevin Harvick in the 29 car, the winner from last year's All-Star Challenge.
From Defiance. I love it. Defiance, Ohio. And he is defying to give up tonight.
Now, when we look up through the field, the only Gibbs car left running is Tony Stewart in the 20 car. He had his engine problem in practice. I would question if they didn't go with a little different package to go back in there when they changed the engine.
I guarantee they did, Larry. Now, we saw Biffle, and I said this earlier, you can catch the car. Getting by him's the hard part, but I think those new tires eventually are going to pay off late in this run.
But, Darrell, no matter what happens in the next 12 laps, regardless, I'm seeing a good call by Kenny Francis on the 9 car and Chad Knaus on the 48, because they are definitely holding their own a lot better than I thought.
You got that right.
That's Kenny Francis there on the right with the hat on, talking to his driver.
30, 25.
Giving him lap times. 12 to go.
See, I thought that the 9 and the 48, they'd be roadblocks. I thought they would go nowhere on those old tires.
No, they're holding their own first and third. Boy, Mark Martin and Tony Stewart are going at it, and Mark Martin almost got up and into the wall last time by. Here's a look.
Guys are battling for 6.
That's kind of one of those push loose scenarios there. A lot of wheel, under power, the thing just snaps loose.
Right now, lap per lap, as we'll be coming to 10 to go, the 9 and the 16 seem pretty equal.
I tell you, and 2 guys not too far behind them that are mirroring their times almost is the 48 and the 17.
30-20.
The best a fan vote winner has finished. Kyle Petty in 2006 finished 8th. Remember that? And that was a wreck fest. Kyle had to dodge a bunch of them.
Well, let me just tell you something. That 9 car just ran a 30-20, and that's 2/10 quicker than Greg Biffle.
Steve, how about the second place car?
Well, Mike, Greg Biffle just said on the radio, he said, I'm too tight, I can't get him in just that second. He said, I may have a loose wheel, too.
And you know, I can't help but think back to Darlington last week. Every one of the Roush Fenway cars had lug nut problems, especially the 16 car.
I think for $1 million, I'd gamble a little bit tonight. There goes the 17. He's on the move again.
Third place. For third. But I'm just not sure he's going to have enough time to get up there to that 9 and that 16 car. In fact, Casey Kane in the 9 is stretching it out on Greg Biffle now. 8 laps to go.
Right behind that group, Tony Stewart takes 5th away from Ryan Newman.
Yeah, Stewart's car has really woken up in this last segment. He kind of lingered back in there for a while, but he's coming forward now. A little caution flag would change everything at this point.
Remember, caution laps don't count. We don't have all green flag racing.
That 20 car is pretty stout. He's got too much distance to make up. This 9 car, though, he is driving away. He's running best lap times of anybody out there right now.
40, 35 behind you.
7 laps to go. Only twice has the All-Star race been won by a driver who transferred out of what is now the Showdown. Michael Waltrip in '96, Ryan Newman 6 years ago. Casey Kane trying to become the 3rd and the first fan vote winner to race all the way to victory lane.
Well, he's sure got a stranglehold on it right now, because he's holding his own against Greg Biffle, and most time a little quicker.
Now Sam Hornish in the 77 car, he's gotten by Carl Edwards in the 99. That moves Sam up to the 9th spot.
What a great comeback for the Indy Racing League's all-time race winner. and 3-time champion.
And he transferred into this race. So the guys, the fan vote and the transfer is paying off. Yeah, the winner of the
5 to go. 5.
Yeah, Allmendinger, he's back there at 18th. It didn't pay off too much for him, but sure did for Sam and for Casey.
Well, I wonder what it means for next weekend in the Coke 600 if the winning driver in the All-Star race is the driver who gambled and did not take on tires.
I tell you what, I'm impressed by that call. I really
You
am.
got about 8 car lengths on them. Doing real good. 4 to go. 30, 50, 60 behind you.
It tells me one thing. Those guys paid close attention to the truck race last night because they ran a lot of laps last night on a set of tires.
Because right now, the highest anyone's running that changed 4 tires on that last stop.
He's trying to run your line there 1 and 2, and that ain't working either.
Is Dale Earnhardt Jr., who has now moved up to 7th. They're giving Casey a lot of information. They're talking about where Greg's moving his car around. I don't see it happening now unless we get a caution. 3 to go.
3 to go.
Sam Hornish has passed Mark Martin, moves up to 8th.
Good lap.
That's about the only change here.
Yeah.
As Casey Kane is holding a 1.2 second lead.
And pulling away, really, Mike. I mean, he had 2 tenths in the bank that time by. Well, like we said a couple of years ago, he owned this joint. Looks like he's reclaiming it.
Steve.
And Mike, Greg Biffle just said to his crew, this thing is just plowing so bad, there's no way we could catch him.
Yeah, right now he better be looking back at that 17 car. And Darrell just pointed out Sam Hornish in the 77. He's going to get him another one.
He just keeps on trucking.
Hornish has been amazing tonight.
He really has. I'm glad for Sam because he's such a good guy. And so is this cat right here.
This is the first time that Casey Kane in his Cup career has had to run the Showdown. He was automatically in the All-Star race.
Well, he
every
just
year
got
before.
himself, if he can make another lap and a lap here, an exemption for 10 years.
And the difference between first and second, almost $800,000.
Keep that focus. 1 more corner. Hit your marks here. Clear about 15.
Race pace 30.5. Only 3 other cars are running that. And here comes Casey Kane, the fan favorite, wins the Sprint All-Star race.
Oh, by the way, young man, this Bud's for you.
Good job, Kane. Good work, Bud.
Greg Biffle finishes 2nd, Matt Kenseth 3rd, Jimmy Johnson comes home 4th, and Tony Stewart cracks the top 5.
Boy, Stewart had a long way to go from starting last to get to 5th.
Man, I can't believe we just won that thing.
And
I can't believe it.
Attaboy.
You know, that's the same thing I had on the hood tonight, the day I won here.
Sure is, isn't it?
Yeah.
An attaboy to Sam Hornish to come from 3 laps down, get a couple of free passes,
Impressive.
and finish 7th, passing cars right to the end. No burnout competition tonight. It all belongs to Casey Kane. Casey Kane's first win in the Sprint All-Star race. He is the 3rd driver to transfer from the Showdown and win it. He is the first driver to come through the fan voting process and go all the way to victory lane.
And Mike, while we're watching Casey Kane in the 9 car, we didn't get to talk about him a lot tonight. We talked about him in the pre-race, but Dale Jarrett, want to congratulate him on an awesome Sprint Cup Series career.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I've raced with Dale ever since he started, and he's just like his dad, a true gentleman. You don't see Dale Jarrett ever get himself in very much trouble, and he's always had the respect of everybody in the garage area.
Absolutely. Steve Burns is with tonight's runner-up.
And Mike, Greg Biffle and Matt Kenseth debriefing after the race. And Greg, it just seemed like that last run, you got tighter and tighter. Do you know why that was?
Oh, it tastes good. No, I really don't. You know, this car was awesome. These guys did a great job. This Network Fusion, but you know, I had a lot of fun racing out there tonight. And I was too loose out front by myself. I almost spun out and wrecked. I remember when Ryan Newman did leading the race down there, and I didn't want to make that mistake. And you know, I told Greg Irwin just a tiny bit loose. We put 2 tires on it. I don't think he said he didn't change anything, so we'll have to see if he's got a little mouse in the bag there. He might change the air pressure a little bit, but just got too tight. I had a shot at him, and I could have forced the issue, but I said, I got great tires on this car. I'm going to let it slide, and that was my only chance I had to get Casey. And, you know, can't believe I got beat with no tires, considering I put 2 on and how fast my car was. But I had a lot of fun tonight, and I look forward to the 600.
Thank you, Greg. Let's go to Matt.
A lot of optimism on the team radio at the conclusion of the All-Star race. Going into next weekend, what was the biggest thing with that final segment you learned that you can use next weekend?
Well, really the whole race, we were a lot better than we were yesterday. I think we learned a lot on the setup stuff. Chip and these guys did a great job, and just we've kind of all been in a funk lately. You know, I've been getting in wrecks and just been having all kinds of problems. Just haven't been ourselves, and you know, just trying to show these guys, you know, we can run like this. So if we got a car that'll drive like this for 600 miles, at least we'll be a contender. I'm not saying we're going to win, but at least we'll be a contender. It's just awful hard to pass out there, and that 9 did the right thing getting out there. It's just it's so hard to pass in dirty air with these race cars, and it's real proud of my team to make great adjustments, did good on pit road today, and hopefully we'll run like that next week. I feel kind of like we're back.
He finishes 3rd here in Charlotte. Mike.
Thanks, Matt. Casey Kane saluting the crowd who voted him into the All-Star race, and Dale Jarrett climbing out after 24 seasons, 668 starts, 16 poles, 32 wins. The 1999 champion hangs up his helmet. We'll be back to talk to tonight's Sprint All-Star race winner. Kyle Busch led at the end of the first quarter. Carl Edwards at halftime. Greg Biffle after quarter number 3. But Casey Kane will become the first driver to bring a Dodge to victory lane in the NASCAR Sprint All-Star race.
Come on, Casey.
Dick Berggren in victory lane.
And I'll tell you what, Mike, this engine is steaming. The left front tire is flat. Oh, and you can guess what the liquid is. It's hitting us in the back here in victory lane. Casey Kane, victorious in the Sprint All-Star Show. Casey, the fans voted you in. What do you have to say to the folks who did that?
I just thank them so much. I can't believe it. The car was mediocre in that open, and the fans get me in this race. I shouldn't even be in here, and they're so cool, so awesome to vote for us and Budweiser and Allstate, Stanley Tools, Valvoline, everybody that supports this thing, Siemens, and everybody at Gillette Everingham. I mean, these guys have worked hard, and we just kept fighting right there. That was a great race. I really cannot believe we just won $1 million, won this race. Budweiser be on my car, so cool, and this one's really for my grandpa. We lost him in January, and he meant a lot to us, to our whole family, and my grandma, and it's pretty cool. I always wanted to win some big races. He would enjoy this.
How did you pass all those cars?
One by one, pretty slow. We took our time, got in the right place. Kenny made the right call. No tires at the end. I didn't think we needed them either, and you know, the car was just exceptional. I mean, it was awesome there. I was just making sure I didn't make any stupid mistakes and not win this race.
Congratulations to you. Oh, can I borrow a few bucks?
All the fans, that's for them. This is incredible. This is a race for the fans, and for us to come out here and win it as a fan vote, pretty cool.
Well done. Mike?
It was not a night of checkers or wreckers. In fact, the caution flag only flew to end each of the 3 quarters. There were 3 dominant drivers, none of whom was around to challenge at the finish.
Now, I saw some exciting racing and good racing, and different guys won different segments, but the most gutsy call I saw all night was in the pits. Not taking any tires. Larry, boy, would you have done that?
I don't think I would. I can't sit here even after the fact and say that. To me, it was the night of surprises, like I talked about at the top of the show. There's the guy that made the call, Kenny Francis. Who would believe we'd be at an all-star race and Jeff Gordon would finish 24th? But you're right, Darrell, those 2 gutsy calls by Chad Knaus, the 48 car that finished 4th, and then Casey Kane that came from the back of the field and to win this race.
How about that? Well, Krista and Jeff, it'll be another all-star night to remember.
And there you see the results and the payout. But of course, in this race, Jeff Hammond, the only thing that matters, the winner. If Casey Kane thought he was popular before, he's now $1 million richer.
Yeah, you'd think the girls liked him before then. Now that he's got a little extra money to go in his pocket. Pretty incredible deal. Again, Larry said about the surprises. It was a night of surprises. Nobody would have believed that Kyle Busch would have lost an engine and lost this race. I thought Carl Edwards had a shot at it. Then Greg Biffle stepped up to the plate, and he kind of let it slip through his hands. But in the end, It was a young man coming from the back of the pack with the help of the fans, which really, I think, makes this race extra special.
100 laps, $1 million, a lifetime of gloating for our winner, Kasey Kahne. The best part, we'll do it all again next year. Only 364 days until the 2009 All-Star race. Kasey Kahne took the gamble. He gets the big payout. From the campaign trail to the $1 Million March. We'll be back with Kasey Kahne and all of our All-Stars next week right here at Lowe's Motor Speedway for the Coca-Cola 600 live from Charlotte next Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific in high def, only on Fox. Thanks for watching.